Mic check, mic check. 1, 2. Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the live letter watch along. So it's going to be a pretty fun night. I'm pretty excited. Tonight should be the job action trailer, which we have all been eagerly anticipating. So strap in, get your coffee, get your drinks, get your Ardberts, whatever you need. We're going to be in for a pretty wild ride tonight. So if you've never watched one of these live letters before, they're not quite as big and fancy as the FanFest, of course, but this is something that they do every month or two that is essentially a way to get the developers in contact with the players, basically keep us up to date on what's going on with the game, introduce new features and everything that they have down the pipeline. And tonight, of course, with it being Endwalker, we should have some pretty cool announcements going on. Now, tonight they are going to be focusing mostly on the job trailer and the job action changes. So that's something that they mentioned on the lodestone, but they always give us a few surprises as well. So I anticipate, of course, the job action trailer is going to be probably the big thing. And then they'll also go through some of the changes that they're doing with each of the classes, either introduction of new abilities that they're getting rid of, things like that. So a lot to look forward there. I would not be surprised if, I'll go ahead and turn on the background music here. I would not be surprised if they go ahead and maybe start finalizing a date for data center travel as just kind of one of the addendum things at the very end. And I also would not be surprised if they maybe talk a little bit about PvP changes specifically. I really want to know what the new PvP mode is going to be. If they do Blitzball, you might see me do a Zeppela-like freak out on stream. We'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, so a lot of crazy stuff that we're all kind of looking forward to. We are officially, down the stretch. Endwalker, I don't know what happened to my phone. Endwalker is only a couple short months away, and I think that this is one of the last, if not the last, major announcements that they have. They'll probably do one more live letter, probably in October, I would imagine, late October, early November, to kind of finalize everything and talk a little bit about what's going on with the actual launch. They usually do a live letter to kind of go over the procedures and everything, especially with data center travel going to be a big thing. Kind of talk about what we should expect, what players should do on their end. A few things like that, and of course finalize a few small bits and pieces, like right now collector's edition, they have not activated those rewards if you bought the collector's edition yet, and then a few small things like that. So usually they'll do one more around that time, probably I would imagine early November. And then after that, it's Endwalker. If you've never been to a launch, they do it every patch, but launches are going to be a lot of fun too. Yoshi always, it goes up around midnight or so, and they read the patch notes, and it's a tradition that he's had for just about every patch since the game started. So that's kind of our tradition while we're waiting for servers to come up and patches to download and all of that good stuff. We can hang out with YoshiP and read the patch notes together, kind of talk about all those big changes. What's going to be unique about this live letter, and why I anticipate there's going to be quite a few big announcements with it, is that most live letters are not translated, but I guess Koji or someone is going to be there doing a live translation this time around. Like I said, that's very, very rare. Most live letters are Japanese only, and then you have to either be in a Discord, or the official subreddit also has a live translation thread that is also very helpful. The people there are absolutely wonderful at translating in real time. So tonight, Koji or someone will be translating, so hence the watch along. We can watch along together and not have to worry about trying to translate everything with each other. But it is going to be mostly job focused, and should be a lot of fun. please excuse me if I keep looking at my other screen. I am in one of my major Final Fantasy Discords right now, and we're going to be talking about this together. Feel free to say hi in this chat. Enjoy the watch along together, and have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, if this is your first time ever watching a live letter, or you missed the fan fest or something along those lines, these tend to be a lot of fun. I don't know if Fox or Koji or someone will dress up. Sometimes they do that for the bigger announcements with the job changes and stuff, so we might see a little bit of cosplay. It's not super common, but it's a lot of fun when they do it. I just hope it's not the beavers again. I don't know if you saw the last one, but who was it? Was a fox that dressed as the beavers? It was the creepiest cosplay that I've ever seen, but it was definitely something that I'm not really super surprised that they did. It's very much in line with how these things usually run. Live letters do tend to run a little bit long. We'll do the watch along for as long as possible. If it ends up being like a 3-hour live letter, which I don't anticipate it being, but if it does end up being like a 3-hour long thing, I'll probably cut it off at the intermission that they usually do, but I at least want us to be able to watch the job trailer and everything together. That's going to be the really important part and the thing that everyone is really looking forward to. A couple other things that I kind of hope they at least touch on. Sometimes with the job related stuff, they might talk about upcoming raids and whatnot. They usually hold raids and whatnot pretty close to the chest, so I wouldn't expect too much when it comes to like revealing too many of the bosses or anything like that, but they might show like the first boss. If I remember right, they showed Eden, I think, and then they introduced Gaia before the second tier came out. They just showed her character art. So sometimes they do stuff like that. They usually don't talk about the mechanics or anything like that. Like I said, they want that all to be a surprise for everyone involved. And since we don't do beta testing or anything like that, there's no PTR here. That's going to be a big surprise for all of us, but they might show us some concept art. I wouldn't be surprised. Non-job related, I'd really like to hear a little bit more about the island sanctuaries. That's something I'm kind of looking forward to quite a bit, and I think it'll be a lot of fun when it actually does come out. I anticipate spending a lot of time in there and just kind of, vegging out, chilling a little bit. It'll be even better if you can introduce friends to your island sanctuary, just like Animal Crossing, and see everyone's work. Let's see. Now, as far as for me specifically, obviously I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I'm a red mage. That's pretty much all that I ever really play. Right. I'd like to see them give us another AOE ability, particularly Alizé's that she does in the solo duty. At the end of patch 5.55. It's basically the same animation as the Enchanted Moulinet, but it gives the irises all the way around. I think that'll be cool. But yeah, Red Mage is in need of another AoE ability, I think, to just kind of even things out and just kind of keep things interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of Reprise and Enchanted Reprise. I know it's in a few guides as something to be using when you have movement ability, but I feel like a lot of those guides are just like, well, the ability's here, here's what it would be used for. I haven't really found too many practical uses for Reprise at this point. I can see why they added it in, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets cut to make room for another ability that would have a little bit more use. Typically, they are pretty good about getting rid of abilities that aren't used a whole lot, and then introducing things that are pretty well balanced from the get-go. After Endwalker, they'll always have a hotfix patch to just kind of smooth things out. Sometimes it can take a patch or two to really get the numbers where they want, but for the most part, they do keep balance pretty well even. So I don't anticipate too many changes with Red Mage, because I feel like it's in a good place right now. The big one will be Scholar and Sage. We're going to have to see how they're going to be playing around with that. Obviously, Sage is going to be a shield healer, and they want two shield healers, 2 straight healing. So we'll have to see how that's going to work out. I know a couple of, a few healers out there are kind of worried about it. How's it going to work? Are they going to change things out? Scholar in particular, Scholar is pretty well balanced, but it doesn't feel all that well. It's kind of clunky. And that's something that Yoshi's acknowledged for a long time. He said from the very beginning that he wishes he could get rid of pet classes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Scholar gets a pretty big rework to go along with Sage. But I mean, it's all a mystery at this point. We'll all find out together here in about 3 minutes. But I think that's something that a lot of people are also kind of wondering about and looking to get some information on is what are they going to do with Scholar and Summoner? What are they going to do to kind of even out the rotation and how it feels and all of that good stuff? Again, I don't have to worry about it too much. I play Red Mage. They could never change Red Mage and I would be perfectly happy with it. I anticipate with this being a job focused one, they might give us a little bit more information as far as the downscaling of all the numbers and how that might affect some of the older patches. They have said previously that yes, older content will be a little bit harder to do now, not tremendously so. I mean, you'll still be able to do everything, but with the number changes, it might affect old raids and whatnot for going in unsynced. But they haven't really given a whole lot of information as far as how that's going to work or what the actual numbers look like. So we'll have to see how that goes. And of course, they might not give all of that information tonight. Keep in mind the Tokyo Game Show is coming up here pretty soon. They usually save 1 or 2 big announcements for that. Not necessarily like, the tentpole reactions, like the job title and job action video. But they usually do save at least a couple of things for those interviews. And then, of course, Yoshi will be hopping to a random world server and spending some time there. Last time he came to Crystal, I managed to get a photo with him, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's what, October 6th or something like that is Tokyo Game Show. I wouldn't be surprised if that is when they are planning on giving a final date on the data center travel. The fact that he's hopping to random worlds says a lot. Obviously with GM tools, they can hop to wherever they want, but normally when he does that kind of stuff, they announce it ahead of time. So I wouldn't be surprised if TGS is there a bit like chance to showcase the data center travel and actually hop to different worlds in real time in front of viewers. So we'll have to see how that rolls out. But that's something to kind of look forward to next month. Instead of a live letter, do the TGS stuff. But yeah, Yoshi has a very, very long week during those trade shows, but he hey, what's up, Zach? But yeah, he does have a long day, but he tries to spend it with his viewers as much as he can. I think last time they did a big convention was at the 14-hour cookie stream where he was just drinking wine and eating cookies the entire time. So that's the kind of stuff he usually does during the trade shows. So that should be pretty fun. That'll be next month. Yeah, BLM. I've always wanted to try learning BLM. I've got one at 80, but it's just too big brain for me, man. So kudos to you. If you know BLM, then that just helps us get through dungeons faster, right? Discord's excited about YoshiP holding up pieces of paper. That's always another staple of the live letters. Instead of showing like concept art on screen, he'll literally print off pictures of the concept art and hold it up to the webcam. So I'm excited for the paper for the paper printouts of all the concept art. Let's see. Believable. All right, so here we are. We're in the final stretch. They should be going up any moment now. They usually go live a couple days ahead of time to get all of their tech stuff worked out. That way, they don't have a repeat of the 2-hour 2-hour IT stream that they had at that one trade show in LA. And this will be in their Square studio, so it should be going up any minute. Yeah. Let's see. It's some good art there. I like that. Charlian. Yeah, I'm really excited to head there. It looks beautiful. Watching while doing the weapon fight quest? Right on, man. Ooh. Wow. That's gonna be our title screen, huh? Nice. Wow. I noticed I changed configuration to just config, so kind of different. That's a very chill title screen.
皆さんおはようございます。おはようございます。Good morning, everyone. 第66回ファイナルファンタジー14プロデューサーレターライブのお時間です。Thank you very much for tuning in and welcome to the Final Fantasy 14 letter from the producer live number 60.
I want Fox's shirts. He always has like the best shirts on all of these streams.
My name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy 14. 皆さんおはようございます。Final Fantasy 14プロデューサー兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いします。
Not Koji, but...
Hi. Hello, my name is Aimi. I'll be helping with translation support for today's broadcast. 今回の通訳サポートを務めさせていただきます。徳竹あゆみです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
And lastly, my name is Toshio Murachi, also known as a Fox Clone. You are a global community producer here. 信号を務めますコミュニティチームモルボルことムローチです。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
はい。はい。よろしくお願いします。
ということで、
まず I guess pins too. He's got the Reaper and the Sage pin.
僕はギリギリまでタバコに使ってるのも悪いんだけど。
All right, let me know how the audio levels are. I don't want to bring it up too loud, but I want you guys to be able to hear it.
ギリギリまで測ったんですいませんでした。はい。
So we started just a little bit late to this time. Of course,
4 minutes late. They gotta apologize. Okay.
That's beside the point. We were trying to show off that opening sequence there on that screen, and we wanted to time it just right. And we were struggling until the very last minute there, so apologies.
Yeah, there was a hot debate here. やっておりました。無事出てきてよかった。Yeah, good to show.
Nice, thank you.
かっこよかったです。
ありがとうございます。結構調整実は大変。
Every expansion, Yoshi gets another ring.
まあ巨大なものをこう動かすんだけど、14って可変フレームレートなので、やっぱちょっとやっぱり微妙にその描画精度でちょっと落ちたりずれたりとかして、うまい速度に合わせるのが結構難航して、サウンドに渡すのもフィックス渡すのも結構遅くなったんで、ご迷惑をおかけしました。
Thing I kind of like is that the new
it was quite a struggle, a big undertaking to make the different adjustments when we're trying to move large objects on screen. Of course, with the fluctuating frame rate, it is a very challenging
hey, thank you for the follow.
Element to kind of render, and depending on the quality of the rendering, it's quite difficult to get the timing just right. So we did struggle on that. I'm afraid it did delay us in handing over the animation over to the sound.
Yeah. It is interesting though. That's like one of the first titles that I can remember that has a lot of moving objects on it. It's kind of cool.
まず最初に今日がなんでどういう段取りなのかをちょっと説明させていただきます。So this letter live is kind of special one. So let me explain what is the setup for today. まず今日は通訳、あゆみさんに通訳に入っていただいて、日本語と英語のバイリンガル放送で、行います。So first and
Fox's English has gotten quite a bit better too.
Letter live is the bilingual in both Japanese and English. So we have Ayumi-san here, and she can help translating Yoshida-san's speech. And then during the letter live, how it works is Yoshida-san basically speaks in Japanese, and then Ayumi-san translate his comments into English. Soまず吉田さんが原則日本語で、もろもろ説明していきます。で、それを、あゆみさんが、随時訳していってくれるというスタイルで進みます。で、私ですけれども、毎回これも言うんですけど、私は自分で訳していくんですが、今日何部か構成なんですけど、最後の最後のお知らせコーナーが来るまで、私からは大して重要なことは申しません。 ので、あれ今モルボールなんか通訳し忘れてるじゃんとかあっても気にしないで特にあはって言ってるだけだなって思っておいていただければいいかなと思いますので、そういうご理解でよろしくお願いいたします。So and then I will translate myself by myself, but
Okay.
if I mistranslating something, but just leave it because nothing important information is coming from my mouth anyway. So until very end at the announcement section, I mean, I am just nodding and then saying, wow, is all my job is. So just leave it. And then today's Letter Lab has 3 major sections.
Okay.
The first part is all about the new jobs. I mean, job
buddy.
changes.
Here we go.
Followed by the battle-related updates.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to have some other updates. There are
Surprise
three major
updates,
sections.
okay.
今日は大きく3部構成になっておりまして、最初は皆さんお待ちかねジョブ関連、全部お待ちかねなんですけど、最初はジョブ関連調整のお話をします。続いてバトル関連、今日は主に PVE ですけれども、バトル関連の調整のお話、そしてさらにその他のいくつかお知らせがありますので、そういう話をやっていって、
Now I'm real curious about the third section.
わかんないな。まあ今日私こちらにニコニコとTwitch と YouTube とコメントが全部あるんで、大概こっちに行ってる場合コメント見てると思ってください。
So just to let you know, Yoshida-san has the monitors for Nico Nico, Twitch, and YouTube broadcasts, and he's following along with some of the comments. So don't mind him if he kind of drifts off to the side of the screen. He's just checking the comments.
Everyone asking for Blitzball.
Yeah, my screens are placed here, so I will looking at here this direction to check your comments. はい、皆さんのコメント、私の方は画面こっちにありますので、私がこっちを見てるときは、なるほど、なんかコメント読んでんだなと思っていただければと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。
結構ね、見てるか吉田とかね、寝てるかとかね、書かれてるんですよね。あと眠そうって結構ありますね。
We were seeing comments like, "Oh, Yoshida's actually looking at our comments. Oh, he looks kind of sleepy, and is he asleep?" Etc. Etc.
He usually does pretty good at looking at the comments.
There's no time for sleep. We won't be able to release the game if we're taking time to sleep.
だって14のほら巨大さはさ、皆さんもよく知ってるじゃないですか。たくさん遊んでいただいてるんで、あれを全部見るんですよ。もう何から何まで、サブクエストの端からね、ありとあらゆるものを見てってるんで、寝てられないんですよ。
I mean, you understand how large FF14
And I've got almost 200,000 between all of the services right now.
Aspect of it,
Nuts.
Not just the main parts of it, but even the nooks and crannies of the subquests as well. So there's no time for sleep.
At least sleep, Yoshi.
今日は今モルボルが言ってくれたように、今日と次回の PLL で 6.0 ドーンとご紹介するんですけど、今日は主に PVE、それからバトル関係のシステム周りだったりとか、アップデートの、詳細というより、ジョブに関してはコンセプトをお伝えしていく回になってます。で、例えば PVP の新しいコンテンツとか、矢桜とかっていうのは次回の PLL で特集するので、そこはぜひご承知おきください。
Of course, as Foxconn just mentioned, we will be covering the different elements with this PLL, and we will have another follow-up immediately before the release of Endwalker.
Yeah,
but we will be covering the new expansion. So for this PLL, it's going to be primarily about the PvE items, the battle system updates, and the job changes. We won't delve too far into detail for each individual jobs, but we would like to go over the different concept that went into the different updates that we'll be making. Unfortunately, PvP and Disciples of the Land and Hand information will be next PLL, so I'm afraid we will not be covering it during today's broadcast, so apologies in advance.
で、あと特筆すべきなのは、やっぱりジョブの例えば 6.0 の、例えばナイトがもうここがこうなってここがこうなりこのアクションがこうでこれの強さはこうですみたいなのは、当然ちょっと言ってたら終わんないっていうのもあるし 明日からいよいよメディアツアーがスタートします。で、メディアの皆さんには一足早くですね、特定のエリアと、全部ジョブレベル90でプレイをしていただいてですね、メディアの皆さんとかインフルエンサーの皆さんが、全世界一斉に情報解禁して、インプレッション上がると思うので、まあぜひそちらをですね、詳細はね見ていただければなと思っております。はい。はい。
And of course, we also wanted to make note that with the different job updates, I'm afraid we won't go into detail. So we won't be like, oh, Paladin's going to do this and the action's going to be like that and potencies is this and this and that.
Yeah, okay. And that makes sense. They usually are fine tweaking the potency until the very, very end.
For the broadcast. But we will be doing a media tour where we invite members of the media as well as influencers to get a glimpse of the new content, some of the new areas and all of the jobs available at the upcoming level cap of level 90. So they will be creating information and content to share with you, and they will go live after an embargo lifts. So I hope that people will tune into that information.
まあ結構ね、今回メディアツアーで楽しみなのは海外のインフルエンサーの方も結構お呼びしてるので、まあどっちかっていうとなんか久しぶりに MMO 談義ができそうでちょっと楽しみだなみたいなのもねいくつかあるんで、まあその辺をね気力にしながら頑張っていこうかなと思います。
And the one thing that I'm really excited about is that we do have a lot of Western influencers joining us this time for this media tour. And so
cool.
I am so excited to talk MMO shop with them in my interviews. So that's going to be kind of like what I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird media tour, you know? Basically Zoom meetings the entire time from what I understand.
記事とかレビューとかはですね、全世界一斉に10月中旬頃に公開される予定になっておりますので、そちらをぜひお待ちいただければと思います。So the review and the articles from this media tours will be available globally at the timing of the middle October. So please look forward to it.
じゃあ早速始めていこうとは思うんですけど、2点だけすいません。あと2つ確認させてください。まず1つ目、今日お伝えしていく情報はやっぱりエンドウォーカー行月のフィナーレまだ開発中です。最後の最後本当にギリギリまでバランス調整やってるので、今日お伝えした内容が変わる可能性があるっていうのは、まずご理解ください。
So before we jump into the main part of the show, we would like to bring up two additional points. First of which is, of course, we'll be talking about Endwalker today, but we are still making final adjustments. It is still in development, and so please understand that some of these elements are subject to change.
そしてですね、
Yeah, and they say that every time. I mean,
確かに私疲れて
it
おりま
won't
す
be until after launch until the actual potency numbers are actually adjusted to the point where they feel comfortable, you know?
そういうのはないです。顔がね、そういう顔なんです。怒ってたりとかは決してしてないので、真面目に話すとなぜかね怒ってるって言われるんでね、そこはご理解をいただきたいのと、まあちょっとやっぱ疲れは確かに疲れてるんで言い間違いとかちょっとどもったりとかする可能性があるんですけど、今日はちょっとすいませんご容赦いただけると助かります。はい。
And one important thing, I am tired. I'm sorry. And people have asked, Yoshida, are you angry? And I'm not. I'm just, this is the way I look. This is my face. So whenever I'm talking about something serious, I apparently give off the impression that I'm angry, but please understand I am not.
I couldn't imagine Yoshi ever angry.
So I might...
Very sleepy at all times, but never angry.
I might stutter at times, but please understand.
いつもじゃんって書かれてる YouTube.
Yeah, that's good disclaimer.
YouTube comments saying, but you're always like
いつも疲れてる。いや、言いますよ。always tired.
さあ、じゃあ始めていきましょうか。まあ一応後ろ制限はないんでね。
All right, there's the printed off PowerPoint. We're about ready to go.
Okay, I think we are ready to jump into the content here.
Nice.
I believe there isn't a strict sort of end time that we have to adhere to, so we're just gonna go into it, take our time, and explain as needed.
さて、はい。
Job adjustments, here we go.
まあもちろん大事なのはジョブ関連調整だと思いますので、ここから行こうと思いますが。
Yeah, that shield does look awesome. Wonder if that's going to be the AF gear. I wouldn't be surprised.
そう全ジョブに対する基本方針をざっと説明しちゃおうかなと思っております。
Job
So of
adjustment
course,
guidelines, okay.
We are going to be discussing about the different job updates
Mhm.
and adjustments. But before we jump into talking about jobs or even roles, actually, I do want to cover something that encompasses all of the different jobs in general.
まず最初、ベースの方針なんですけど、こちらは
Okay.
シャドーブリンガーズ 5.0 の、
It doesn't sound like they're going to be changing too much for most people.
So just as a baseline, we are sort of building upon what we have adjusted in Shadowbringers 5.0.
まあもちろんその新たなアクションとかはあるんですけど、まあその新システムとかをね、各ジョブにこうゴテゴテつけたりして、もうそのさらにシステムを各ジョブ複雑化させるようなことはしてません。
And of course, with the new level cap, we do add some more actions, but we haven't incorporated any sort of brand new system tacked on there or made anything too complicated.
Okay.
まあもちろんベーシックのコンセプトはまあ50
Sounds about right.
ですけど、まあ新しいアクションという
I
の
think
は
Bard was really the last one that had like major changes.
それぞれ大小ではあります
Couple big tweaks to Monk over the course of Shadowbringers.
今日お伝えしていこうかなと思ってます。
And of course, with the basic thought being building upon Shadowbringers 5.0, of course, there are new elements that are added leading up to Endwalker and different elements that we have changed, may it be small or big. So we would like to go over some of the concepts or the directions that we've taken for these different updates.
でこう、一部ねちょっと複雑にしてほしいなと、3.X シリーズみたいなのっておっしゃる方もね最近ちらほらは見るんですけど、やらないですよ。以前やって大変なことになったんでジョブの扱いは難しいわ、コンテンツは難しいわになって、
So I imagine they're going to start with Paladin being that
づらいと思うんで、
that's the official job of the expansion, but we'll see.
継続していく予定です。
And of course, there are a small group of you that desire for that complexity of what we've done in the 3.x series. But I'm afraid we won't go in that direction. It's quite a struggle because not only does the job actions become complicated, the content themselves make it kind of compoundedly worse. So I think we are at a good sort of stable place post Shadowbringers. So I think we would.
I mean, they're not bringing back
continue in
Protect?
that direction.
もちろんね、個人個人ね、3-0時代が良かった、4-0時代が良かった、いやいや、今がいいんだっていうご意見あると思うんですけど、まあ、全体をずっと長くね、こう見てきた自分に関して、まあ、やっぱ5-0の方針が一番多くの人にフィットするだろうという、すいません、判断をさせていただいております。
And of course, I'm sure different players have different tastes. Some people might say, oh, I love the 3.0 series, 4.0 series, or etc. But I think looking at it from a general sort of perspective and from Yoshida's point of view, looking at 14 throughout these years, we do feel that 5.0 seems to fit as many people as possible. So apologies, but this is kind of the direction we're taking.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine wanting to change it too much. Like, everything is so smooth for the most part in 5.0. Like I said, a couple jobs could be, you know, a little smoothed out a little bit more, but like everything feels really good right now. Primary abilities. Nice, nice.
And another thing that encompasses all of the jobs is regarding their attacks and some of the like primary abilities and their recast timing. I think we've kind of equalized it to kind of lean towards that 60-second or 120 seconds.
Yeah, and that's really important with how they design raid bosses and whatnot to make sure everything lines up with certain mechanics.
ジョブアビリティ全開放してバーストするぞみたいな時にまあバーストが一定周期で合いやすい。
Yeah, so they're smoothing out a couple jobs. It doesn't affect everyone, but like I think Dragoon is one of those that could stand to be lined up a little bit better. Yeah. Bard is another one, yeah.
And this kind of takes into play when you go into the high difficulty dungeons and raids, where you have that sort of burst timing that you can
Right.
match with taking your different medicines and then doing your different cooldown abilities, and you have that sort of relatively similar cycle depending regardless of what job you would do. So even if you kind of go into your alt job, you'd still have that kind of similar tempo or
Right.
that cycle that you can keep up with.
ただしですね、
はい。
最大の注意点でございます。こちら。
Yeah, so
Of course,
essentially
there
it's
is a caveat to that.
not that all ability. Okay, so there are going to be a couple. Okay.
すべてを押せ切るわけにもいかないので、全部が全部60と120になってるわけではございません。ここは忘れずにぜひ
Mhm.
ご注意ください。
Yeah.
But that being said, of course, we were not able to align everything. That's exactly 60 seconds or 120 seconds. So please understand that not all of the abilities might match up perfectly or exactly.
おい、
Yeah.
くまモン60秒になって
But
るじゃないか。
essentially, that's a change to help them when it comes to designing these encounters than it is to help us, it sounds like.
残念ながら90秒リキャスト
Because they do take a lot of that into account. Yeah.
It's like the ley lines. Oh no, it's not 60 seconds. No, that one still remains to be known.
Ley lines. Yeah.
Apologies.
悲しみですよ、私。そう
So
か
it's a black mage.
捨ておかれ
Really
た。
sad. They-
Yeah.
they've wanted
Yoshida's
to
not letting
do
anyone touch his job.
things.
プロデューサーのメインジョブのね、主力アクションがそのなんか寄せていく対象に入ってなかった。
It'll be a cold day in hell before Black Mage changes.
Unfortunate, the main job of the producer of the game missed out on having his timings of his ability. One of the main abilities kind of aligned to that kind of cycle.
公平に取り扱われてる。
フェアですよ。
So
そういう意味
fair.
だと
The
フェアです
battle team treat every job fair.
みんなが
Except Black Mage.
その30秒後に次の魔王を私開いたりしてあいつ一人で何やってんだみたいな空気が調整中にも
なるほど。
ございました
So like everybody else is doing their abilities and their nice cycled timing, and then 30 seconds later I come in with my ley lines and everybody's kind of looking at me weird, like what is he doing off timing?
ではですねこの全ジョブに共通するまあベースは 5.0 をそのまま準拠してますよ、でいろんな主力の攻撃に関わるようなアクションアビリティのリキャストが60、120にこう、寄ってますよっていうことによって結構変わるものってあるんですよ、まあそれを頭の中にまず入れた状態で、見ていただきたいものがあるので皆さん頭の中に入ってます？大丈夫ですか？
So again, our base concept is kind of building upon that 5.0 Shadowbringers, and then a lot of the primary abilities have been aligned to kind of fall in place between 60 or 120 second cast timing. So with that in mind, there will be abilities that kind of change in accordance to those updates. So if you could keep that in mind, and there's something that I want to watch, I want you to watch as you think about that.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to affect like Embolden, because like with Red Mage, it's like depending on who's in your party, you'll use Embolden at different times. You know, some it's on the second level cooldown, some it's on the third. And it does get kind of confusing because like depending on your party comp, it could be all over the place.
So we will be looking at a 20-minute footage. None of us here will be making any comments, so
Okay.
you could take your time to watch the footage, and then he has more to say.
さあそれでは
20 minutes. Wow.
ウォーカーのジョブアクショントレーラーとなっております。
Wow.
This is the 6.0 job action trailer.
どうぞ。
All right, here we go. Job action time. Let's go. Oh, that's a cool intro. Wow. LB3. Dragoon first, okay. Chevalier Dragon, okay. Dragons still jump. Oh wow, they changed the changed their icon. That's cool. Oh, that's nice. Some of these are probably already in the game, and like I just never noticed because it's always right into a crowd of mobs, right? Training on the moon. Dragon dive. There we go. Star diver. Oh, okay. Nice. Warrior. Sadly, this is like one of the only classes I haven't played yet, so I don't know too much as far as what's changed on it. I'm guessing that's the new AF gear? Yeah. Oh, cool. He gets the red eyes. That's nice. Oh, cool. I like that. Hey, here we go. Let's do it. Red mage. Oh, we've got, looks like 3 kinds of procs now? Okay. Okay, nice. There we go. Here's our Scorch. Oh, that got a nice new update. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's nice. I'm curious about those spinders, though. Okay. It has to run up, okay. Is that like a distract or something? I like the cars in the background. I've got something in my eye. I like can't see out of my right eye right now. That's cool. Oh, summoning the shade, yeah. Unleash still looks the same. Oh, and it's got an extra timer too. I guess maybe that's a shade timer, lets you know when it goes out. Maybe. Okay, Dancer, here we go. Hey. So some of you guys watching on Twitch might be, whoa. Might be a little bit ahead of me, but wow, that was a cool AoE. Nice. Okay. Right on. I might have to play my dancer a little more now. See what Machinist gets. They always get some pretty cool animations. Shotgun, okay. That's the same. Okay. Nice. Oh, that's cool. Cool. Looks like the robot gets a new finisher. Hey, Gunbreaker. Okay. I need to play my Gunbreaker more. I really liked it when I was leveling it. Nice little finisher, yeah. Okay, bar changes. Here we go. So my other main, I guess you could say. Okay. Looks like the poison effects got a little bit of a texture update. Okay. It seems like they just on a lot of these they cleaned up some of the animation on the target, just made things a little bit easier to see. Astrologian, all right. And bomb on the moon. Okay. Got our earthly star there. Oh, okay. Oh, meteor shower? That's cool. Nice. Okay, and there goes that shield. The new Sam stuff. Sam should usually be pretty good. There we go. Nothing too terribly new yet, but they've got some spenders down there too. Really curious about all of these new spending moves. Cool. Okay, White Mage. Let's see what new craziness they get. Looks like they updated the textures on the lilies. Cool. So you actually like plant a heal. That's kind of nice. Oh, cool. Vanish back? That's nice. Oh, that's cool. All right. They got some nice changes. All right, here we go. Let's see what Yoshi did this time. Oh, I see what chat's freaking out about. Hey, there we go. Everyone's talking about Antipode, and sure enough. Yeah, their job gauge is like way different. I don't see the Enochian meter going up. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Okay. Oh, that's a cool little flare. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like they're going to be as beastly as ever. Okay, here we go. Sage. New stuff. All right. Okay, saw that from the trailer. Oh, cool. His music is wild. I'm digging it. I'm digging it quite a bit with all the lasers. Like, this is something I've been looking forward to, is maybe being my main healer. We'll see. Oh, that's sick. That's sick. Okay. That's cool. Nice. All right, so we got some monks. Okay. That bottom gauge is curious. No more grease lightning, at least. Okay. Baja Blast gauge. Okay. So maybe that like lets you know where you're at in your stance order? Huh. A summoner. RB. Like the little butterfly wings there. It's Bahamut. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay, there's Garuda. All right. Oh, wow, she gets like an actual model now. And you can see in the right of their gauge where you're at as far as your summons go. Okay. Okay, right on. That's cool. So it looks like you like unlock different chains? Huh. So it's like stances, but as summoner. That's interesting. Okay. Huh. Ifrit, okay. Hmm. Now this is some major changes to them, probably more than I've seen on any of the classes so far. Wow. There's Phoenix. Full Phoenix gauge. Cool. I like those. Okay, here's Reaper. Here we go. Oh. Even got the swag right out of the gate. Look at that. Another personal kid. Okay. So it comes out during certain abilities. Still trying to see like how it works with the gauge. Ace. Wow. Like a little void portal. That's cool. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, now he's got the soul gauge. Okay. Wow. Look at that shit. That is fluid. Cool. Very cool. I keep thinking Reaper is a tank for some reason. I like the way they're handling colors with a lot of these effects now, too. Good contrast between them. Ooh, nice. Very cool. Look like Emmett's move. Oh, cool. Very cool. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited to see how this is going to change things up. I gotta relearn a whole rotation now, though, for Red Mage with those spinders. That's gonna throw a lot for a loop. Woo. Very cool. That didn't feel like 20 minutes, no. Not even remotely.
But first of all, yeah, it's a 20-minute trial, so to speak. How did everyone do?
Wow. Some nice changes. Yeah, Summoner definitely looks like the most significant.
生徒に全体そのまま進化していきつつ、主要リキャストが60、120に寄ってたりするので、あれなんかローテーション随分間隔短くなったなみたいなのがあると思うんで、そのあたりを順次ジョブごとにこれからご説明していこうかなと思って。
Yeah, the Paladin looked really good with the sword animations.
As mentioned earlier, our basis is 5.0 and building upon Shadowbringers, and so it kind of evolved the different actions based on that. And with the primary abilities and the recast timing kind of being aligned towards either 60 seconds or 120, you might notice that the skill rotations and the intervals between them.
Yeah, my muscle memory is going to be all kinds of messed up.
We'd like to go into the different jobs now to kind of explain some of the concepts and ideas.
The two jobs seems to have gotten total rework, so it looks like Monk and Summoner, yeah. which are the two that needed it really the most.
I I feel like I see a lot of comments that are saying, "Oh, the summoner is now a summoner."
Yeah.
We're summoning. And that goes for both the Japanese and English comments that I see.
Very cool.
私が見た中ではアルテマウェポンかよって言ってたのがちょっと面白かったです。So are you now Ultima Weapon? Or just...
まあ召喚だけ尺投げずるいっていうコメントもあったんですけどまあ見せないと全部わかんないかなと思って。
First of all, I'm just excited for Antipode coming in. Any Chrono Trigger references they can add in are going to be perfectly fine by me.
The length that Summoner is being featured is a little longer than everybody else, and they were like not fair. But I mean, it's quite a significant change, so we wanted to show off all that we can.
Hey, it's fair. I mean, that's very significant.
の映像ある程度頭に入ったと思うので、ここからロールのお話でそれぞれのジョブの話っていうので続けて全ジョブお話ししていこうかなと思います。
Okay, so now upon looking at the job action trailer and having that sort of mental image of your primary job and what actions that you saw,
I'm excited to have the lasers.
We'll start from the different roles and then go into the different jobs.
さあまずはタンクからいきましょうか。パワーポイントお願いします。はい。
Okay, so jumping into the
Okay, so tanks first.
PowerPoint.
さあではタンク全体的なお話です。
Okay, so tanks overall.
はい、まずいいですよ、出してもらって。
Optimal times. Oh, nice. Very cool.
単にね、それを実行するだけじゃなくて、例えば
Now they're sticking in an order. Nice.
直前に差し込むことによって、よりちょっとメリットを得られたりとか、他のアビリティと重ねて。
And I feel like that's going to help a lot of newer players too, because I have had a lot of sprouts that like don't know about roll actions and that kind of thing, or tank stance. Obviously, it's kind of a meme. So something that will teach them to buff themselves is definitely a good thing.
Sorry, the certain defensive buff, that you cast. We wanted to, of course, add some benefits to it. So not just simply like protecting yourself from, say, a tank buster or something like that.
Okay.
But we wanted to make it so that if you are using it in conjunction with different abilities and kind of using them in combination, it allows for greater benefits and sort of like a technical aspect to some of these defensive buffs.
なんかこれね、ジャストガードとかパリーとかやれてるんだけど、ね、サーバークライアント型のゲームでね、さすがにそれは無謀なので、まあ、すごい効果の例えばですけど、効果の短い追加効果があるんで、なんかこう、敵の栄翔の半分ぐらいでもうとりあえず撃っときゃいいやだと、まあ、なんていうの、一応軽減 10% とかは働くんですけど、その後についてる効果がちょっと無駄になるねみたいな。
So I wonder if they're going to button changes at all. To see if maybe they add a few more auto transitioning buttons for procs and stuff.
Okay, so we're not talking about something very exact like a guard just at the right timing or like a parry. That's quite difficult for something that's a client-based MMORPG online.
Right.
So it's more along the lines of some additional benefit for a short amount of time after utilizing certain abilities. So before you might be thinking, oh, okay, enemy is casting. I'll just go ahead and activate this ability when it's casting. And of course, you'll still reap the benefit of, say, it's like a 10% damage mitigation, but there is a bit of a waste. And so by combining it with optimal like ability use, optimal times, you can reap even further benefits.
で、あとですね、また効果がね、それぞれちょっと異なる。自身もしくはパーティーメンバー一人に付与できる防御バフを各タンク上部持っているようになっているので、MT、ST の場合どっちでも役に立つんじゃないかなと思います。
And of course, these different effects do allow for different sort of effects that are being added to you. Some of these are a defense buff where it applies to yourself and a party member. So I think it does come in handy regardless of you main tanking or off tanking.
では次の項目なんですけど、これはねちょっと近接
Adjustments to ensure combos are not broken by ranged attacks. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Very cool.
例えばトマホークとか
Yeah, I was having a lot of trouble with that with Dark Knight, messing up everything. Yeah, that's a good change.
Next item was, and this kind of applies to melee DPS as well, but whenever you are activating a weapon skill combo and you insert like a tomahawk for your warrior or something like that, like a ranged attack, that would kind of break your combo chain, but we've adjusted it so that that chain is not broken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent change. I'm excited about that. I am curious if that means they are going to be combining a lot more buttons, though. Just from a technical standpoint, how they're going to do that.
まあ全体がの時間がこうなんだろう回転数が上がるって言った方がいいのかな。それに合わせてこういうコンボが途切れなくなるので結構なんていうの攻撃してる感覚は結構強くなってるんじゃないかなと思う。
So with the different actions kind of being adjusted so the recast timing leans closer to that 60-second intervals, your rotations will start to feel a little bit shorter in their terms. So
Okay.
I think it's best to explain it as the number of times that you are attacking and the different skills are being activated kind of goes up in your rotations. And plus, with without those interruptions, it does give you that feeling of you are making an attack.
まあ例えばボス中心の攻撃が
Yeah, it really sucked leveling as Dark Knight and having to run out of an AoE and then just, you know, mess up the entire combo just trying to throw something out there for some damage, you know?
だろうし、むしろね、グローバルクールダウン中にあえて避けて即戻るみたいな方がいい時もあるし、まあそこら辺はタンクを使うプレイヤースキルが少しずつ差が出てくるんじゃないかなとは思います。はい。
And so, for example, say a boss kind of has this ranged, not ranged, I'm sorry, an AoE attack that starts from the boss and kind of goes outward, and everybody has to kind of disperse away from the boss. Some people don't want to break their weapon skill combo and include that sort of ranged attack. But with the sort of adjustment here, now we don't have to worry about like wasting our cooldown time, global cooldown time, or in some strategies, you might have to kind of decide when you deliberately need to time your GCD so that you can avoid some of those attacks. So I think this will kind of give the tank sort of strategy a little bit of range.
さあでは3つ目なんですけど
Plenty of parity between physical and magical damage attributes to weapons at the same item level. Okay. Right on. Just smoothing things out a bit, yeah.
And then the third item, and this doesn't apply just to tanks, but anybody who is making some kind of physical attack.
ちょっとカメラにしますか。そうですね、生カメにしてもらっていいですか。ですね、今までファイナルファンタジー14のベースのバトル計算式っていうものの中に、まあ皆さんねレイドとかやっててもこの攻撃は物理か魔法かみたいなよくあると思うんですけど、まあ当然物理攻撃の計算式と魔法攻撃の計算式っていうのがそれぞれ一つずつね存在してます。はい。
So of course, with Final Fantasy XIV, we have this sort of calculations of the damage that is being dealt, and there's like a base or like a fundamental formula that is applied, and I'm sure those of you raiders know to discern if an attack is a physical attack or a magical attack, and each of these have their own sort of formula to calculate the damage.
Yeah, especially important as a red mage.
これは新生14レルムリボーンを開発した時に作ったものなんですけど、まあ当時ねどういう風にさらにこう So
it sounds like most of these changes are going to be more to do with the downscaling of all the damage that they're going to be doing in the next expansion. Yeah, as a red mage, you know, going in for your melee combo and then jumping back out and immediately hitting some magic attacks, like having that parity is going to be pretty nice. Smooth it out a bit.
魔法の方が がより複雑
And
な
obviously it affects stuff like embolden and stuff
こい
too.
つの値はちょっと高かったんですね、この物理計算式のベースになってる値より。
And so with
英語はあなた。
Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14 being, oh, sorry.
どうぞお願いします。
When Final Fantasy 14 was being relaunched as A Realm Reborn, we tried to make sure that the programming is it allows for future updates in the battles, and we try to leave the different possibilities open. So the fundamental sort of physical damage calculations were set up so that we have two separate formulas going on. So we have the magic damage, damage attack calculation, and then we got the physical attacks. And when we were initially thinking about these two separate ones so that we can adjust them separately, the team did determine that with the magic attacks, it does tend to be a bit more complicated in the different calculations. So the base, like the fundamental value, is set just a little bit higher than the physical base.
What is Fox doing?
で、
Okay.
まあレベル80になってもこの差っていうのは縮まらない基礎値だったので、でもう今後バランスをきれいに揃えていくためにこのベースに使ってた物理攻撃計算式の基礎値を魔法と同じ値まで引き上げました。完全に同じ数字になるようにしました。はい。
And so with the characters now
So they're
leveling
just
up
changing the
to
math,
level
yeah.
80, this
Okay.
fundamental number did not change as we raised the values. And so with this update, in order for us to make sure these are balanced, sorry, left, right, we kind of pulled up the physical base numbers so that it matches the magical damage attack.
Okay.
で、じゃあそれをやるとどうなるかっていうと、まあ物理攻撃が全体的に強くなるんですね。その計算の元に使ってる数字が上がるので、掛け算すると当然その数字でかくなると思うので、今まで使ってたそのベースが高くなった分、各アクションの威力ってところに書かれてる数字が総じて下がってます。
あ、なるほどね。
うん。バランスをちょうど揃えるために威力の数字が落ちてます全部。はい。
So it doesn't sound like the potency will change, it's just the math behind the potency changes, maybe.
Being equalized.
Okay.
The physical attacks would naturally become stronger by default because, of course, the fundamental number has been raised to match so that both of these are balanced. But that being said, we needed to calculate down so that the potency that is listed out as a number goes down.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as what we see, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. It's more just it's more just them explaining the math. I mean, it's nice that they're transparent, but I don't know if they needed a 10-minute explanation for it. Then again, they spent 10 minutes talking about 2B's butt, so it's not a huge surprise.
全体の基礎計算式が上がってるんで、その分掛け算したら高くなりすぎちゃうんで、数字は全部一律下げてるんで、そこはご了承くださいねっていう。はい。
People are saying Yoshida looks like a cat, but that's beside the point. So with the adjustment of the fundamental numbers going up, of course, we have to adjust the potency numbers so that even if it's raised, it stays the same. So the numbers themselves look like they're low. So I wanted to bring this up because now that we're going into the media tour and we're going to have members of the media and influencers kind of play the game and see the potency, and they would take photos or screen captures of the game screen, and people might wonder, oh my gosh, have they nerfed some of these potencies? Oh no, this one has gone down too. What happened to all of these physical melee attacks? What the heck?
Yeah, so they don't want people to freak out.
Please understand, the potency is noted as like a lower number, but that's only because our fundamental physical numbers have gone up, and it's to make it even out. So it's across the board. You might notice
that's way too big brain for me. I like it. I've said it a billion times, but I'm not a theory crafter. I'm not a numbers guy. I just press buttons really hard. But there are people that are into that, so it's good. It's good for them to kind of know what's going on with the calculations, so that they don't freak out, and they have a better idea of what to expect when they're making their spreadsheets and BIS charts and all of that good stuff too. So
again, this is not just for the tanks, but anybody who is dealing physical attacks. So that means melee, like close range DPS, as well as ranged physical DPS will be affected by these numbers.
yeah, so like my potency is probably gonna look a little bit lower on my melee combo. So yeah, but it's nothing to worry about.
I'm 48 years old. Please don't put me back.
あ、そうか。声だけだとね、機嫌悪いのってなるんで、確かに。まあ大丈夫です。ジョークなんで。はい。
And then people start to comment, oh, Yoshida sounds angry. Don't worry, I'm not angry. I'm just joking.
はい。
He's just tired. He's running on coffee right now.
ないと行きましょうか。はい。
Okay, moving on to the Paladin.
Speaking of, I am actually going to go and refill. So give me a second, and I'll be right back.
したりとか、さらに、さっきね動画でもご覧いただいたと思います。コンフィテオールから派生する三段コンボ、勇者みたいな三段コンボが、追加されてます。まあ主になんで、まあこれ以外にね、もちろん多数の変更点追加あるんですけど、まあ代表的なところだけ、はい。
So of course, as you know, or I'm sorry, you see on the screen, Requi's Cat will now be equally effective regardless of remaining MP, and then a 3-attack combo starting with Confiteor will be added. You may have seen in the job action trailer earlier, but yeah, there's this really neat sort of combo that happens after you launch Confiteor. So yeah, those are some of the major updates. Of course, there are other multiple different adjustments that were made to the tank, but those are the main ones that we want to pick up here.
まあナイトはいわゆる正当進化で、まあ何かがめちゃくちゃ変わるっていうことはない感じです。で、基本ローテーションはただちょっとあまりにも脳死にならないように、少し工夫というか考える余地みたいなのを今回入れてあります。
So with Paladin, it's just a straight evolution, kind of keeping in the trend with Shadowbringers going into Endwalker. So it's not a drastic difference per se, but of course we don't want y'all to be brain dead as you're doing your rotation. So there are some aspects that will require some strategy, require some thinking.
で、突進のですね、インタービーンの要は撃てる距離。 が5メートル伸びて20メートルになってるので。
Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm just refilling my my fuel.
And, the gap closer, intervene, has been adjusted as well. There's an additional 5 yalms you can move forward.
An additional 5 yalms, okay.
Jump in.
Nice. I don't know anything about any of that.
Is the warrior.
まず一つ目。 選手はですね、まあ範囲攻撃のローテーションをやる。
So they can maintain the buff essentially. Okay, so that's what that means.
今回範囲コンボだけでもそもそもバフが付与される。
Damage up effects can be triggered and extended by AoE combos. Okay.
単体から範囲。
It'll help on trash.
割とスムーズになってます。
And then, so with this one, the first point, damage up effects can now be triggered and extended by AoE combos.
Okay.
So I'm sure as you're playing Warrior, at one point you'd always have to insert Storm's Eye into it in order to kind of sustain. But we have made it so that it can be triggered and extended even if you're doing your AoE combos. So I think it's a smooth. It causes for smoother transitions if you want to do like a single target rotation into like an AoE rotation and back and forth.
Okay. So I'll find out about that soon enough because I am trying to get my Amaro mount before Endwalker. Gonna be rough.
And then the second point, and you may have noticed this from the job action trailer, but Onslaught and Upheaval will no longer drain the beast gauge.
Action will be available upon execution of any release. Okay.
And then there is a new action that will be available upon execution of inner release.
Chaos
あ
Dunk,
と
yeah.
大きいのはですね、原初の解放のリキャストが、60秒になってます。まあその分だけ回転数が上がるので、効果回数は3回になってます。でまあ頻度は、上がるんでだるさは減るだろうなと思います。
And note with the inner release, the recast time for that will be adjusted to 60 seconds. So you will have the effects for 3 times. And so I think that will kind of allow for like the frequency to be more often. So it kind of reduces that sort of dragging or lagging feeling.
あとはですね、オンスロート、さっきね、ビーストゲージ消費なくなったって言いましたけど、さらにオンスロートのチャージがタンク唯一の3なので、かつ新アクションがあれ結構遠距離からも打てるんで、実は機動力かなり高いです。
And then we mentioned about how Onslaught will not drain the beast gauge. We are also adjusting that to have a total charge of 3. And then with the new action that stems from it, it does allow for a lot of mobility.
I've
あとは原初のタケリも
always heard Warrior's like the weakest of the tanks, but I mean, as much as that means anything in Final Fantasy, I mean, you can do anything on any class, but
I want to say
I've heard it's always been the one that's been kind of the weakest link out of all of the all 4 of them.
はい、チェッ
So
ク
it sounds like this is gonna smooth things out quite a
ア
bit.
クション名は難しいんですよ。
ごめんなさい、原初の。
ね、日本語と英語全く違いますからね。原初のタケリ。今。
Sorry guys, it is nascent flash.
Ah.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Nascent flash will allow for it. So if you're off tanking, it will also help you there.
はい、という感じでございます。はい。あゆみさん大丈夫？進めて。
はい、大丈夫です。
はい。では続いて暗黒騎士いきましょう。
Okay, Dark Knight.
Moving on to
One of the few I know a
Dark
little bit about.
まず
Since I just got 80 on it today.
フォートアースの設置位置がですね、結構こうめんどく
Eat
さ
it
かった
around you and make a new action available. Okay, cool.
設置してさらにその
Interesting.
設置中に発生するアクションっていうのを新しく追加してます。
So with Dark Knight, Salted Earth will now affect the area immediately around you. And make a
Okay,
new
so no
action
more
available.
like trying to
You may
point and
remember
click.
You had to place your
Yeah.
Salted Earth, but now it's going to appear where you are standing.
Yeah.
And from there,
And it would never
stems
like
a new
click
action.
the first time I pressed it. Like something else would end up getting in the way or something like that. So that's a nice change, yeah.
感じだったんでもう変えました。はい。
It was really annoying trying to place that.
So even Yoshida had to like set up a macro so that we can place the Salted Earth. And so
Okay.
it seemed a little pointless.
Yeah.
So we have made adjustment there.
で続いて、まあ、プレイヤーが新しいアクション、習得するので、英雄の英神もその新アクシ
Also
ョン
gain a new action. Okay.
素晴らしい。
And so the second point was your simulacrum will also gain a new action when you acquire one of the new job abilities. So your living shadow is going to learn new actions as well.
Cool.
まあ、暗黒は今綺麗に結構ローテ回せてるんで、極端になんか変わるってところはないんですけど、ただブラッド・デリリアムのリキャストが、こちらも60秒になって、3回までの効果になってます。なのでやっぱりこっちも回転数は上がります。
And so I think with the Dark Knight, the rotations are pretty clean and straightforward. But one of the other changes that
Yeah, I mean, Dark Knight feels really good.
Recast
Okay.
time will be adjusted to 60 seconds.
Okay.
And that would be also affected up to 3 times. So again, I think frequency will go up again.
あとはプランチカットの、射程範囲も20メートルに、拡大しますね。5メートル伸びる。で、あとは新技でブラックナイトとは別に単体ターゲットの防御バフも追加されてます。
And so
Yeah,
with
so it didn't need too many
Plunge,
changes.
Again, that is also going to extend its range another 5 yalms, so a total of 20 yalms. And then there will be
Got us, they got the tanks jumping all over the
that's
place.
separately from the Black Knight, would be a single target defense buff.
はい。 暗黒騎士はこんなところで、続いてガンブレイカー行きましょう。
I think that's it for the.
People are already getting
so moving
salty
on
about
to
Summoner
Unbreaker.
because it has to change buttons.
はい、ま
Get out of
ず
here.
一つ目、サベッジクロー、ビケットタロン、いわゆる
For Gnashing Fang on the hotbar, okay.
ソイルコンボですね。こちらがですね、
Nice, nice.
ビートファングから順次置き換わるようになってるので、これ楽になるんじゃないかなと思います。
Yeah, so they're essentially incorporating those combos that we were talking
So the
about.
first
Yeah.
one says Savage Claw and Wicked Talon will now swap in for Gnashing Fang on the hotbar, reducing the number of inputs. But basically, your cartridge combo that starts off with Gnashing Fang will be like a one-button combo where it will kind of.
So basically, they're trying to
replace
like discourage
the,
people from using those
Savage Claw
mods that
and
do it
Wicked
for you
Talon,
and just
swapping
cleaning things
its
up.
place
Yeah.
to do the
So I wonder
combo.
if they're going to be doing that for a lot of the other classes like Dragoon that also have those combos that need to adjust.
ビートファングを使うと、2段目のサベッジクローにアクションがもう自動的に置き換わるので、そのまま同じアクション実行すると、サベッジクローで、3段目のウィケットタロンが、発動できるようになると自動的にそれも置き換わるっていうことで、ホットバーがかなり節約できるんじゃないかな。
So just to kind of explain it further, basically you, like we mentioned, it's going to be a one-button
Right.
sort of combo that's triggered when you start off with Gnashing Fang, and then in that same slot you'll have Savage Claw, and then once you've triggered that, you move on to Wicked Talon. So
Yeah.
I think it'll definitely save space on your hotbar.
And then you've got the continuation on the second slot. Yeah.
まあ、その間に挟む追撃アクションはね、これまで通りコンティニュエーションからの自動置き換えなので、まあ、そこ
Wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing for the melee combo in Red
And then
Mage
for
too. Just
any
move it down the
sort of,
line like you do in Alizé's
actions that are inserted in
RP
between,
duties.
it will continue to be continue to be continued. You'll be able to use.
さあ、次。ファーストストライク
Okay.
の後にコンティニュエーションで、追撃可能になってます。
And then the second point clearly states continuation will
Yeah.
be able to be
They
used
definitely
on the
needed it.
first strike.
そして、動画でも出てましたね。特性によりソイルが最大3スタックに、増加しております。
And then, of course, you may have noticed this in the trailer as well. A
Mhm.
trait will raise the maximum number of cartridges to 3.
Nice.
ラフディワイドの選択範囲もこれ他のタンクに合わせて5メートル延長されてます。
And then Rough Divide, of course, has been adjusted to match the other gap closers in the tanks as well.
Okay.
でやっぱりこれガンブレイカーはソイルの最大スタック数の追加というのがかなり大きくて、より結構戦略的になってるかなと。そのボスのタイムラインに合わせて開幕から全部使い切っていくのか、ちょっと抑えめに始めるのかっていうところは結構ポイントかなって思ってます。はい。
And then with the cartridges and the maximum stacks has been raised, I think that definitely adds an element of strategy. So you might want to decide if you want to go in full on and use up your different cartridges during the timeline, earlier in the timeline, or do you want to kind of save it for later, etc.
Yeah, I'm sure the number crunchers will always have a way like to figure it out, but they're really good about designing their fights around that kind of thing, like kind of forcing you to do something a little different. Hey, melee time. There we go.
Next up is the melee DPS.
じゃあまずメレー DPS 共通の変更点からです。一つ目、牽制
Its effect will be changed to reduce physical damage dealt. Okay.
So first is
Okay,
something
nice.
that applies to all melee DPS, but
The making
effects
feint useful
for
instead of getting rid of
feint
it.
is going to change.
レイドでですね、
はい。
軽減の打ち合わせなどを盛んにヒーラーさんとタンクさんとしておりますとですね、まあ私黒魔だからなんですけど、近接さんがですね、
Like the Bun Boy Reaper.
オートアタックの痛いところに置いときますねみたいな感じにちょっとなっていたので、はい、調整をしました。
So with this feint, and this is probably applicable to a lot of you who go into raids, and Yoshida being a black mage, we discussed beforehand with the DPS and tanks and healers to kind of talk about, okay, so when are we going to place this? And they're like, oh, feint.
They're like,
where auto attack hurts the most.
feint exists.
So,
oh no.
We are going to adjust that.
まあでも実際うまい本当
Yeah, so yeah, Discord saying Addle will probably have kind of the same thing, just the opposite. So reduce the magical damage and physical, but magical will do a little more. Yeah.
で落ちるがあるんですよ。なんでそこにね牽制結構効くんですよ。効くんですけど。
Yeah, because almost every boss uses magical attacks, so it's really not a whole lot of reason to use feint.
効果も少しつけました。ただ当然効果量魔法ダメージ軽減の効果量はアドルキャスターが持ってる軽減の方が大きくはなるんですけど、無駄っていうことはなくなります。はい。はい。
So I mean, to be fair, with some of these bosses, you know, sometimes the auto attack that follows after the sort of tank buster or the large damage hurts a lot, and it's immediately after the tank has already used up their defense buff. So sometimes it does come in really handy to place feint right after one of those really large attacks. So we will there will be an additional effect of mitigating magic damage. Of course, that being said, the proper protection that you want to have against magic damage is Addle that some of the casters have, but just in case, I think that's a handy sort of benefit to it.
Okay. They did mention it at least. Not broken. Okay, so doing the same thing. They're not broken up.
今までコンボ中断されてたんですけど、こちらも中断されないようになりますので、ご確認ください。
And then second point is similar to what we had discussed during the tank rolls, but the combos are not broken by ranged attacks that are inserted in between.
はいはい。そしてもう一個も先ほどご説明しました。
And same thing again. Yeah.
武器の物理基本性能の値というのを上げてますので、全体的に攻撃力が上がった分、威力という数字に関してはその上がった分だけ落としているので、ナーフしてるわけではなくて、計算式が変わったので、今までと違いますよというのをご承知おきください。
And then third point is also, as we mentioned during the tank roll section, but again, with the adjustment of the fundamental damage attack calculation for physical attacks, we did have to adjust the potency so that it appears that the potency number might seem smaller, but it is still the same strength. We have not nerfed it. We just wanted to match it with the sort of upward adjustment of the fundamental calculation value.
All right, so now we're getting into, I guess, the individual jobs.
では、ジョブのお話に入っていきます。
Dragoon first.
お願いします。よろしいでしょうか。
Okay, so we are moving on to the different jobs within this role. I think we're good.
まずは、竜騎士からいきましょうか。
First is the Dragoon.
はい、まあ、竜騎士もね。
AoE rotation, okay. A little bit more to go with there.
今回まず範囲攻撃のローテーションっていうのを拡張してます。
So with the Dragoon, I think
adding 7 buttons.
A fairly clean and straightforward sort of rotation that you can utilize, but we've kind of expanded upon the AoE rotation.
であとはウェポンスキルのコンボローテーションをきれいに成功させていくと実行可能になる新しいアクション。これまあすげえ派手なやつが、多分出てたと思いますけど、はい、追加されてます。
And then for
action, okay.
Action will be available upon
so I guess they're not going to condense their combos. It's kind of a surprise.
It is quite flashy. You may have noticed something really cool going on in the video, but
でですね、まず新技追加されたり、 まあ随分時間が経って古くなった技の上ア
Right.
クションの
And next is going to be Monk. Monk's going to have a lot of changes, it looked like.
なのでボタンがねめっちゃまた増える
And them and Summon are really the big two.
はい。
So with this one, of course, there are just new actions that are being added with the new level cap.
Mhm.
And then with some of the existing actions, and of course, throughout the years, we've kind of upgraded some of these existing actions to become like a higher version of certain actions. And we've just kind of swapped them in place of the base skill. So it's not like we're going to be adding like additional like button presses or like additional slots you'd have to fill.
で青の流血は、
はい
今回特性に移動しましてですね、アクションとして実行したり、維持する必要はなくなりました。
And then Blood of the Dragon will now become a trait, and so
Oh,
there will
nice.
no longer be a need to
There we
execute it
go.
as an action or
Nice.
to maintain
That's a
it.
good change.
で発動
Yeah.
の条件下、それが発動条件
Fantastic.
だった技はすべて通常時に使用可能ということで調整されております。
Yeah, it was just way too much to
So for
manage
any
and
actions that
made
require
Dragoon
for Blood of the
really,
Dragon to be activated,
really weird.
will be available
Hmm.
at all times because Blood of the Dragon will be a trait.
Yeah.
であとはですね、スパインダイブが
Yeah, it was definitely a big roadblock for people trying to get into Dragoon, I think. I've watched a lot of streamers who've been doing Dragoon and they're like new to the game, and like that's something that has definitely been noticeable.
And then Spine Shatter Dive is going to be changed to 2 charges.
Oh, 2
and
charges.
some of them
Okay,
might have
cool.
experienced, like, oh, I wish I could have used Spine Shatter to move over. But now you'll have that 1 extra charge that you can probably save. So unless you kind of like waste it, but as long as you have it, you'll be able to use it.
で、ランスチャージがリキャスト60秒、リタニーは120秒となっております。
And then Lance Charge recast will be changed to 60 seconds, and Blood Litany recast will be 120 seconds.
Okay. Got smoothing those out like mentioned earlier.
はいはい、大丈夫ですかね。
はい。
じゃあ、力士以上でございます。
That should be it.
Gonna call it now. Stances are gone. Well, we'll
続
see.
いて文句なんですけど、
They definitely had the most changes aside from Summoner, so we'll see what this looks like.
まず
Maybe I'll actually play Monk now. I got it to 80 and then haven't touched it since.
遊びがなくなってしまったので、まず陶器というシステムをまあ低レベルから使えるように。
Chakras will now be unlocked at lower level. Okay.
So next up is Monk, and so
It'll help
we
with
wanted to explain this,
syncing
a bit.
content for sure.
First of all, the gameplay element of stacking greased lightning will be done away with. So we are going to allow
Yeah, they've already
chakras to
moved
be
that
unlocked
towards it.
at a lower level.
そしてですね、もう一個、新しいシステム必殺技っていうのを
Masterful Blitz.
搭載することになりました。
And then we
Build
are
perfect
implementing
balance,
a new
okay.
system that we called Masterful Blitz.
Let's change it depending on which weapon skills used. Ah, okay. So it's almost like Mudras, but like during a limited time buff.
So I mean, it's been
Okay.
Adjusted fairly significantly overall, but so
we can
just
finally
going
suplex the
into
train.
it, we will have 3 chakras.
でさらに陰と陽2つの陶器があって
And then so there will be like a yin and a yang.
その組み合わせによって必殺技の中身が変わります。
And so getting like a balance of those chakras and the 2 different types of it will allow for the different skills to be activated.
ちょっと待ってね。
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, they're incorporating 6. I love it.
ちょっとわかりづらいよね。
Can't wait to trip and fall down in front of a boss. Because that's what I did every time I tried to use my D-pad for the blitzes.
左が2スタックチャージのアクションになってます。
So with this chakra system,
Mhm.
you will need to activate it using perfect balance.
Okay.
But perfect balance is going to be a charge action that can stack up to 2.
Okay.
しかも、チャージタイム40秒なので回転が早いです。
So it's still going to be pretty
And
active,
stack,
but
each
we'll see how it actually
stack
plays
is,
out. But
charged up,
it sounds like a lot
every
better
40
than
seconds,
the
so
old
it's
Grease
quite
Lightning.
fast.
It'd be nice if they got rid of a couple of the rotationals or positionals, but I doubt they'll do that. That's kind of Monk's main thing, right?
聖剣好きと総称打の2つは方向指定が今回なくなりました。
And so, of course, the concept of trying to rush with the different skills that you activate and quickly going through these different skills has not changed. But with the implementation of Masterful Blitz, it does get a lot busier. So we have adjusted True Strike and Twin Snakes to not have like a directional.
Okay, so they are, yeah,
condition.
okay, nice. Getting rid of that positional, that's going to be nice. That's like the biggest holdup for me playing Monk. I know there's probably a lot of Monk mains that are going to be super mad about it because it's such a high skill level, but like in general, for new players, yeah, that's a wonderful change. I'm excited.
I know a lot of you had enjoyed using this and it felt great, but we will be taking shoulder tackle away.
ただ純粋に新しい移動技、突進技が追加されるんですけど。
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get rid of the positionals.
But in its place, we will be adding a gap closer or like a rush action per se. It will not be something that you use your fist.
Okay.
味方ターゲットして移動もできる。
It sounds like just the third move of each combo is going to be the positional at that point. Yeah.
その味方が
Hey, what's up,
離れ
Runyon?
てくれたやつに、まあ魔文みたいなステップみたいなもんですね。
なるほど。
ステップして即ボスへみたいな使い方ができる感じです。
But with this rush sort of movement, it is going to be simply for moving around, but you can also target your ally or your party member to rush over to them.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, just like a Black
you
Mage.
needed to kind of go towards somebody who had dispersed and went off into the distance. You can rush over to them. So kind of like there's an action that's similar in
Just like a
the
reverse rescue
Black
almost,
Mage's
yeah.
kit, but you
Be
can
nice.
go in there to kind of close your distance with your party member.
I'm curious about this.
クローマの場合だと
I like fast jobs and lots of movement, but I hated the positional aspect, especially when tanks keep spinning.
今回敵のターゲットで
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I might have to give it a shot.
そんな感じで、まあなので羅刹でこう味方殴ってしまうわけにいかんので、
そうですね。
はい、殴らない技には。
So, I mean, with the Black Mage, though, you would place the ley lines and then take a step and
move
rush
away,
into
yeah.
your party member and then just go back to the ley lines. But with this new monk action, you can target where you're going to be moving to. So it's not just like a going back and forth. You can target your ally to rush over to them and then maybe run towards the enemy. So because of that, and you will be able to target your party members. You don't want to shoulder tackle your allies.
味方は殴っちゃいけませんよねっていう話。
Okay. So far, I'm liking most of the changes so far. I don't know as much about the tank stuff, but the dragon and the monk changes sound really nice.
やっぱり進みましょうかという感じでございますが、よし、
So
もう説明じゃちょっとわかんないと思うんで。
Suplex,
we wanna show
suplex,
off an
suplex.
example of Masterful
Show us the
Blitz
suplex,
on
Yoshi.
The gameplay screen, because I think just explaining it with words might not be optimal in terms of.
God, it's going to take forever to get through all of these. I might not be able to last until until that mystery third section.
Wow.
At this rate, it's going to be a 4-hour stream.
すべてがなんだこれに見える。Everything looks new.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's the balance chart underneath the chakras there.
新しい
Because it's a new area.
New area, new BGM.
まあ当然ですけど、お伝えしてある
Got the Razathan area.
入ってる状態なので
Looks nice.
はい。
もう全体ギューってね、数字が縮んだ状態です。
It is nice that
Just,
Yoshi
word of
actually plays the game
note,
too, so.
downscaling has been already implemented in this build,
Okay.
so please don't be surprised if the numbers feel a lot more compact.
Okay.
はい。
Oh, that's cool.
こんな感じです、
おー
今の。
That's cool. Nice.
So as you can see, that's the 3 stacks.
まあテクニカルではあるとは思いますけど、
うん
はい、30秒でチャージされます、ね。
Yeah, that looks pretty sweet.
Quite technical with a 30-second charge. So let me show you the Masterful Blitz.
はい、お願いします。
Like the music. Mm-hmm.
ウニなり。
Okay.
ここに
Got the blitz. Okay, so you got 3 different abilities. Okay, 3 different weapon
Can
skills.
you see the 3 kind of below that chakra gauge
Mhm.
glowing there?
はい、これがチャクラですね。で、ここに必殺技が出てるんで、
おお。
Oh, that's
違
cool.
うチャクラを
あで、
That's very cool.
つけた時に出せる
あ。
必殺技。
And so once you have those charged, up to 3 chakras that are opened up,
Mhm.
You can unleash your Masterful Blitz.
Okay.
で、それ今1個使ったことによって、
はい。
So you're gonna have to memorize all the combos again, I guess, just like Ninja.
用の
用ですねはい
Mm.
陶器がついておりますね。
ははは。
So of course, once we have used that stack of 3, we now have an element that's associated with it. Between the yin and the yang, it's yang at this time.
Mhm. Okay, there he goes again. There's your perfect balance again.
3つとも同じ。
2 Oppo Oppos, 3 Oppo Oppos.
早期砲が
Okay.
ここに来てます。
A lot of people commenting on the numbers already. It's gonna feel a little weird.
Here right now, but
I mean, I never
another
really paid
example is
too
if
much
you
attention to the
have,
numbers unless it
3
was
of
like
the same.
うん。
gonna be used on in logs or something like that.
今、イン。
As long as it feels good, that's all I care about.
Have yin.
インはいいんです
インの陶器が
はい。インの陶器。
インの陶器がついてます。
Okay.
The yin and yang. It wasn't in my glossary, so I'm going with yin and
そう
yang.
ね、
But
まだないので。
Okay, there we
この
go.
状態で、
はい
さらにチャクラをつけて、
Okay, and there's another one.
最後一番上げます。
That's cool. A crown pound.
so now you have the other side, and then you stack your 3 chakras again, and then you
Mhm.
unleash a pretty flashy move there in your
Yeah, so it really is almost just like Mudra's. It's just a little slower because it's based on your weapon skills instead of ninjutsu. Yeah, which I like because I've been leveling ninja and really like it a lot. Probably my favorite of the melee jobs so far.
With trying to maintain that gauge, so that's why we adjusted the 2 true strike and twin snakes to not be restricted to a particular direction.
Right.
では、これ以上はね、
はい
メディアの皆さんの
そうですね。
お仕事を奪ってしまう。
So I think we will leave it at that.
Cool.
And we
Nice.
don't wanna
I
take
like
away
I like the new
from,
animations
media
too.
and
The teleporting
influencers.
looks really good. It's very anime.
はい。以上となります。敵シリセットして。
All right, Sam time.
はい、パワーポイントです。
はい。さあ、では、続いて、侍行きましょうか。
お願いします。
Okay, next up is Samurai.
All right, what do they have in store?
一つ目。陣風と疾風で
Oh,
付与
cool.
できるバ
Nice.
フを範囲コンボでも付与できるようになったので、これ選手とも同じです。範囲めっちゃだるかったと思うので、ここは相当快適になるんじゃないかなと思います。
Then we can go
So
straight
first
into
one
AoE now,
is
yeah.
Effects granted by Jinpu and Shifu. can now also be applied by AoE combos.
Nice, very
it's kind of
nice.
similar to the warrior, but when you're doing your AoEs,
Mhm.
it won't be so like not
Scattered,
boring, but,
yeah.
like, strenuous and time consuming.
Yeah.
because the effects are applied to AoE combos as well.
新たな居合術と、つまべ返しに
Yojitsu and Tsubamegeshi
追加されており
be available. Okay.
A new EI jutsu and an action in the vein of Tsubame Gaeshi will be available.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. I've only got like 2 levels into my SAM so far, but I'll figure it out eventually. That's why I'm leveling them all up, getting that Amaro mount.
ちゃんと範囲書きましたね。範囲のローテーションちゃんと拡張されてるんで、
そうです。
リュウさんも大丈夫ですよ。はい。
People seem to be concerned about the Dragoon, but I did mention, right? I did write it down. We have expanded upon the AoEs.
パワポに書いてあるんで、
Yeah.
ご確認ください。
It's on the PowerPoint. Don't worry. Please check.
The almighty PowerPoint.
で、ですね、侍なんですけど、やっぱピュアメレー DPS として思いっきり正当進化す。
So with the samurai, of course, we wanted to kind of expand upon that pure melee DPS.
Mhm.
新技追加
Yeah, no
が
buffs or
主なんですけ
anything
ど
like that. It's just
燕返しそれから
straight up
名誉
straight up sword
が
play. Yeah.
2チャージのアクションになってるので、コンテンツに合わせてのね、開幕バーストとか調整の余地っていうのは結構増えたかなと思います。
And of course, with the samurai, because it's just a straightforward sort of
Mhm.
evolution from the last expansion, we have just primarily added new actions. But the Tsubame Gaeshi and Meikyo Shisui have become stackable to 2 charges. So
Okay.
whenever you go into a particular content and you want to go
Nice.
into a fight with that sort of burst of attack, there is a bit of wiggle room if you wanted to like make adjustments there.
で、明鏡止水状態ではですね、コンボの3段目に該当するアクションを打つと、コンボ2段目のバフが得られる。明鏡止水の状態の時だけですけどね。そんな風になってるんで、使い勝手自体も向上してると思います。
And then when you are under the effect of Meikyo Shisui, and then you go into that third phase of your combo rotation, you will be granted the effects of that second combo action. So we're hoping that that will allow for ease of use to be improved.
Nice.
はい。じゃあ、侍は
Yeah, some more things to just kind of quality of life changes, so very nice. Okay, ninja. All right, what do we got for ninja?
Next up is ninja.
こちらまず一つ目ですけど、フートンドトン、
Actions linked to Raiton, Doton, and Huton. Okay.
それらをベースとするアクション
Wonder what that
を
means.
追加しております。
So Raiton's dash.
So
Okay.
this one, actions linked to Raiton, Doton, and Huton will be added.
で、あとは
Huton with an
アクシ
attack.
ョンで、フートンを付与できるっていうものが追加されている。
Action making it easier to apply Huton will be added.
付
Okay.
与維持が楽にな
Nice.
るんじゃないかなと思います。
And then an action making it easier to apply Huton would be added. So whenever you do want to sort of apply or keep Huton, and it should allow for you to do that.
Nice.
結構すでに忙しいジョブですし、そもそも忍術なんてミスしてられないし、これ以上忙しくならないようにしてあります。
And of course, with the ninja, it is quite busy. And of course, you can't miss any of those ninjutsus that you are doing. So we tried our best not to make it even busier than it is already.
Good. It is very busy. I like it a lot because there's not as many positionals, but it is definitely a busy class.
残念、4位はございません。
なるほど。
はい。
People are saying, "Oh, we don't want the fourth sigil," but don't worry, we do not.
No
have
fourth
that.
sigil. Thank God.
かつですね、今回映画がなくなって、
Wonder what Lamatod thinks of all this.
なくなりました。
And of course, we have done away with Shadow Fang, so the dot will be gone.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's not like super necessary, so I don't blame them for getting rid of it.
術の効果時間中に使える専用アクションなんかも、追加されたりしております。
And then, of course, as mentioned, there are some new actions that are linked to Doton and Raijin, as you may have seen in the video. And then when you are using the, I'm sorry.
Oh, she lost her notes.
There is going to be a specific action that will be added to that as well.
はい。大体忍者以上で、
はい、ありがとうございます。
That should cover Ninja.
Okay, and then Reaper's a whole new thing. We'll see how in detail they go with it.
最後は、こちらでございます。
お、出ました。
Okay, yeah, so it gets its own slide, yeah.
はい。
Last but not least,
I love that they
this is
made it
our
the
new
bunny
male
boy.
DPS job, Reaper.
まずですね、お伝えしていきましょう。
Decides to attack in tandem with their avatar and can serve as the avatar's vessel to unleash more powerful attacks, okay?
まあ自分にくっついてきてるアバターという、キャラクターとの連携で攻撃をしていきます。で、最終的にはアバターを自分自身に表示させて、まあ、融合するみたいなことができます。
So of course with Reaper, they use the scythe, like a double-handed scythe, to attack. So you have your own attacks that you are unleashing, and then you have the avatar that will also attack at the same time. So you're attacking in tandem, and then plus you will be able to service the avatar's vessel, and so you allow for it to kind of possess you to unleash even more powerful attacks.
続いての項目どうぞ。で、1個だけ
Able to grant enhancements to party, okay. So it's kind of a, okay, it's interesting this is a buff class. So it has a buff. One buff,
One
at least.
job that does this. There's it's able to grant enhancements.
Yeah, so it's not
to
pure DPS like Sam
this
is
the
quite.
only like synergy related.
Yeah. That's another
action
thing
that
to
this job has.
to line up with the rest of the party.
からなんかね、まがまがしいものを抜き取ってましたね。なんかね。
You may have noticed in the video,
The two
Reaper
little
was
dark
trying to take
balls, yeah.
something out of the bard. It looked kind of ominous.
で、まあ移動
I guess they're playing to the edge for this.
どうぞ。特定の状況で
Especially as they give them an edge in specific combat situation. Huh. Wonder what that means.
ちょっとまたタイプが違いますね。やっぱ身長だけあって。はい。
And you may have also noticed this in the video, but some of the movements that the Reaper does is quite unique as well.
I noticed him like bouncing back and then rushing back forward.
And specialized actions give them an edge in specific combat situations.
ざっくりですね、流れのイメージをちょっと口頭でね、まずご説明しようと思います。はい。
So just a very rough and sort of general explanation of the flow here.
まずこの画面にある2つのゲージなんですけど、1つがソウルゲージ。はい。
Like it was channeling at the beginning, yeah.
Job HUD there, you see two different sort of gauges, but one of them, the top one, is the soul gauge.
でまあソウルゲージを貯めて、
You can kind of guess that from the trailer, yeah.
攻撃ウェポンスキルを使うそのソウルゲージを。
I wonder what the bottom one is.
And then, so you would charge up the soul gauge in order to unleash different attacks. And this also applies to some of the attacks that you unleash together with your avatar. And that would sort of deplete some of the charge that is built up in the soul gauge.
Okay.
で、そのアバターと一緒に戦うと、
Yeah, so pretty common for any kind of builder and spinner class.
アバターと融合できるようになるので、最終的にはアバターと融合して、さらに特別なコンボをばらしていくみたいなのが基本になります。
And then once you unleash the weapon skills using your own attacks plus the avatar, then a second gauge starts to fill up. That is the Shroud gauge. And with this accumulating charge, then it will eventually allow for you to kind of let the avatar kind of merge with you. You would become the avatar's vessel, and then you are able to unleash even stronger special combos. So that's kind of like the basic.
So I mean, it sounds like it works pretty much how everyone expected. It's just a matter of seeing like what they mean by the by specialized attacks, I guess, and maybe he'll hop in and show us. But
because of that,
we'll see.
I think we lean towards that sort of pure melee DPS. It kind of resulted in that way.
侍の方がピュアではありますけど、侍と同等のピュアディメレー DPS とは言わないですけど、ピュア寄りです。
なるほど。
はい。
Of course, our samurai is definitely a pure melee DPS. So it's not quite as extreme as the samurai, but I think it does skew towards that sort of melee, pure melee.
じゃあこちらも見ないと。
the press button do damage. That's usually what they mean. So not as much with like buffing yourself or anything like that.
コメントを見たので実況
Like perfect balance and all that. Like no, it's just you press a button, things fill up, and then you
YouTube, I think,
do even bigger damage.
saying,
Yeah.
Oh, but we won't understand unless you show it to us, please. Peek. Show us just a little bit. So,
Are they gonna show us? We'll
allow
see.
us to show it on the gameplay screen.
Okay.
さあどうぞ。
Nice.
こちらが。
Lalafell Reaper. Oh, he's adorable. Look at that.
Yeah. She has size.
Edgetato, yeah.
これどっかのプロデューサー兼ディレクターがステージで来て社長と一緒に並んで写ってる写真でなんだこの会社って言われてた。
Oh, this reminds me of a certain outfit that a certain producer director of a game had worn at a certain event. It stood next to our CEO.
Yeah, so RPR is going to be the
What is this?
going to be the abbreviation, it looks like.
ざっとゆっくりちょっと動かしますね。
ほい。
So just a rough overview and kind of take you step by step.
お願いします。Yes, please.
準備をします。
Sorry, one moment. We're gonna prep.
でこれ一個ね。
He's got to relearn his own rotation.
シナジのやつにかけました。でなん
We
か
have applied the synergistic
Okay.
デバフを
ability
入れました。
and applied a debuff.
Okay.
で、おう
Here's our little avatar buddy. That's cool.
うん
He doesn't know what to press. There we go.
Side attack and then back attack.
Okay.
Oops,
Oh, that's cool.
ran out of charge. Sorry.
Jump back to the void.
でこう殴っていくとまず
Hmm?
さっきのソウルゲージだ。
And building. Yeah, just like Dark Knight.
So as you can see, when you continue to hit the enemy, the soul gauge kind of fills up.
Nice. I used what, 40?
でアバターを使って。
I'm still curious about the bottom one though.
でこんな形
I guess it's a different type of attack that you can unleash.
難しいの通訳挟むタイミング
Sorry, it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
jump in with the translations, but
でこれでシュラウドゲージが50にアバターを使えば使うほどシュラウドゲージがたまると思ってくださいね、
but again, just a reminder, once you attack using your avatar, the shroud gauge starts to fill up.
There's the shroud gauge, okay.
これですね
After you've done 5 avatar attacks, you get something here.
And transform.
Whoa, okay.
わ
It's a little hood, look at that. That's cool.
これちゃんとね皆さんのキャラがこのモードに一人一人にありますんで
See, we
but
got
yeah,
little red
it-
eyes.
Each
That's
of your
cool.
characters will take on its own form, or not its own form, but I'm sorry, it's going to take form,
Mhm.
and it'll still be your character.
完全にダークサイドになりました。
落ちてます。
Yeah, now, yeah, he completely fall into the dark side.
Yes, totally.
That's cool. I like that.
これはいい中二って書いてあってちょっと嬉しいです。
英語にしづらい。
This is very, very emo.
Very emo, yes.
ちょっと
Very much
なん
so.
ですけど
はい
変わってまして、このポジションから向いている進行方向に対して前に
Soundtrack just changes to My Chemical Romance the moment you transform.
So as for a gap closer,
Mhm.
there's a move where it'll allow for you to move towards like forward, and then there's a way to move kind of backwards.
Okay. It's not
でその位置
targeted.
にですね、ゲートを開けておくことができる一定時間勝手に残るんですけど、
There you go. Yeah.
ゲートの
はい。
はい。
So basically, you'll
Back
be
to the
opening a
void?
gate of sort, like a rift that you can go through, and it stays open for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
で、ゲートが閉じる前であれば、戻ることができる。
なるほど。
So if you are able to move before the gate closes up, you can go back to whatever position you started off from.
Okay. First time I use that skill will be off a cliff. Absolutely. Absolutely.
創生でリーパー使ってる子はアンチにあらかじめ一旦ゲートを置いておいて、
はい。
ギリギリまで殴って戻るみたいなことやってました。
なるほど。
はい
Of course, right now we're just making adjustments to it, so it's not like this is a main job or anything. But you
Okay.
a way to go about using this gate is to kind of leave it where it's in front of like an enemy of sorts,
Mhm.
and then you close the gap towards them, hit them, and then go back.
じゃあどうしようかな。そうね
And charge. Okay, so it does have some kind of channel. Nice. Okay. Avatar ability looks like an AoE. Okay, so you've transformed there. Yeah, he's got his little hood. Yeah, this is where you get the big red attacks.
So the
Cool.
avatar can take over.
Hmm. You use looks like 5 attacks before you transform back. Okay. Cool.
融合するとちょっとプレイ速度変わるので、
うん。
結構テクニカルですね。で今までのようになんだろう単体技でゲージを貯めてってよりはこのソウルスライスとか割とチャージアクション使って一気に50貯めて、長めにこうソウルゲージを貯めてようやく呼び出してみたいな感じじゃなくて、どんどん切り替えていくことになるんでプレイ感今までとかなり違います。
But with the tempo of these different actions that you have to do.
Oh wow,
it is
that like
quite
really
fast.
boosted him up.
So
Yeah.
It does require a lot of like technical aspect of it, and it's not necessarily like a single target all the time. Sometimes it's like a soul slice, and adding some different abilities in there. It's not like an endurance thing. Like you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like build and build and build and build and unleash at one time, but it's quite fast. So I think the play style is quite different from what we had previous with it compared to any of the existing jobs.
Hmm. That'd be interesting. It doesn't look like it's got like the traditional combo either. Yeah.
気持ちよくてね、楽しかったっす。
I like that they're on a Media Tour
That being
server.
said, looking at the
That's
different
cool.
jobs, this one included, the tempo does feel really good. So I think it is quite interesting.
これはね、結構やり込んでいただけるんじゃないかなと思います。
And so I think the more you get your hands on it and try it out, I think it's something that you can kind of master and try to make the most out of it, because it is quite fun.
It looks really good. Everything's really smooth.
ならないしていかなきゃいけない
I doubt it'll be like my main melee DPS. I'm more interested in Sage, but it does look good. Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna have a lot of fun with it.
意外となんだろういい感じの難しさになったかなとは思うまあ練習したらしただけ面白いかなとは思うんで
Yeah, someone's mentioning that True North is on the bar, so he might have positionals. Yeah.
That your gauges are up and you're going through this properly, managing it properly. And of course, with this being a new job, very flashy moves, we expect it to be very popular. And so we were torn about making it a little bit less challenging, so to speak. But I don't know, I think it's a good kind of difficult. And again, it's something that would be fun to kind of master. And the more you delve deeper into it, the more I feel like you can get out of it.
Melee APM job now. Okay. I don't know if it's going to beat Ninja.
アバターとやる技みたいな時は方向指定が存在するものもあります。なんかそこはどっちかというと味付けです。はい。
Of course, the base combo doesn't require any sort of directionals, but once you start involving your avatar, there will be. So be careful.
Oh, that's interesting.
It adds flavor to the different abilities that you're unleashing.
簡単じゃんって今度コメントがあるんだけど、さっき言ったように早く高速移動しながらなんだろう高速で回さなきゃいけない中で出てくるんで、しかもさっき使ったのどっちだっけとか出てくるんで。そんなに簡単ではなかったですよ。はい。
And then we also have those people saying, "Oh, but it's an easy job." Comments, which is not true. You are going to be moving around the battlefield pretty quickly, and you're also trying to get through your rotations very quickly. So, and you also have to remember, okay, so I've used this skill, so where does it connect to next? So it's not easy per se.
今ね、YouTube でね。LB3 を見せてくれるコメントが始まってます。Twitch もそうなんですけど、残念ながらですね、僕今日今使ってるこのメディアツアーのワールドはですね、デバッグコマンドの LB3 フリーが使えないんですよ、残念ながら。
I also see comments saying that, oh, we want to see Limit Break 3, but I'm afraid this is in this world that we created for the media tour, we don't have the debug command to unleash the LB3. We don't have the debug command LB3 free, so sorry, I'm not able to show it to you.
It's okay.
ですね、
I'll keep it a surprise.
もうすでに公開しているベンチマークトレーラーの最後に、ゼノス
The benchmark trailer.
すごいやつが、
Oh, so Xenos might have it in the benchmark. Okay.
はい。
But that being said, you may have seen the benchmark trailer, but when you see Xenos at the end and he does this really flashy move, that is the Reaper's LB3.
Okay, nice.
なのであれをご覧いただくと LB3、リーパーの LB3 がこういうやつかっていうのが分かります。はい。
So I think that would be a good reference if you want to see what the Reaper's LB3 looks like.
はい。ではちょっとこれでまあリーパー終わりにしようと思うんですけど、
はい、
まあ2時間になるんで、
そうなんです。
3休憩
はい。なのでここらで一旦ちょっと手短に10分ぐらい、10分休憩ぐらいを一回挟みたいなと。で休憩開けたら残りの遠隔シリーズの DPS とヒーラーに行こう。
全然4時間どころじゃねえな。
おかしいな。数字で言いますと、当初思ってたら今40分ぐらい押してます。はい。いやかかるもんですね。
So we have actually clocked in about 2 hours now.
Wow.
Well, we've gotten through the melee DPS, but I think we would like to take a 10-minute break and then we'll jump back into the.
All right, so I'm going to take their leave and do the same. So we will. Oh wow, 40-minute delay. Jesus. All right, so
10分
quick
間
break.
休憩取り
We'll
たいと
be
思います
we'll be right back.
予定外のマジ休憩なので、お供は特にございません。本当の休憩でございます。
はいはい
So now we want to have a 10 minutes break. It's
Oh man, feel a lot better now. I always get antsy when I'm like really hungry, so I'm taking this opportunity to make just a little bit of ramen and whatnot. But I hope you guys are having fun with the live letter. It's definitely longer than I anticipated, and I think longer than even they anticipated. But I'm curious what the last announcements are going to be. The mystery third section. So we'll just have to hang in there. But yeah, 40-minute delays long, even for them. I mean, that's pretty incredible. But given how much info they've given us, it's not really like terribly surprising, I guess. I would like them to speed it up a little bit. Some of the changes are just going to be like, you know, it'll matter once we actually get a chance to play it, you know. Hot. So hot. Oh man, Final Fantasy is it's trending on Twitter. Nice. But yeah, it is a lot of information. Obviously, I'm curious what Red Mage is going to be like, but yeah, I'm liking a lot of the changes so far. I'm curious how my rotation is going to be changing up, and have to relearn all of my muscle memory, but overall, it seems like they really have evened things out quite a bit, and made things a lot smoother overall, especially for new players. You know, I'm just imagining right now all like the monk mains on Reddit getting like super mad. What do you mean you got rid of my positionals and all that? But like, no, it was a good change. It's such a big barrier for players getting into the game. Like, you know, if you're an experienced player, like switching over to those other jobs isn't a big deal. But like, you're a brand new player, you haven't played too much of Final Fantasy, and you accidentally pick Monk as your first class. Yeah, have fun with that. So yeah, I think overall a lot of this is going to be pretty interesting. Reaper looks nice and smooth. I'm pretty excited about that, but I really want to see Sage. I wish I had more like premium types of ramen around here. I live in a very small town, so we don't really have like any Asian grocers around here or anything like that. So pretty much all Walmart basically. I think there's one Asian market that I can go to over in the next town over that's all right, but I don't know if they have a whole lot of different kinds of ramen. Ooh, that's spicy. So yeah, pretty much in line with what we expected so far. And part of me expected, oh hey, some Boja music. And part of me expected them to consolidate some of the combo actions a little bit more. And it seems like they're moving towards it, but I'm really surprised Dragoon didn't. It's really, really surprising, honestly. I don't normally like eating on stream, but as you can see, there's not a whole lot of me to go around, so I got to take every chance I can. But yeah, so far liking it. I can stand to speed up the second half a little bit, but it's not a huge deal. I'm curious what the positionals are going to be like on the Reaper. That is mostly when your avatar comes out. We're getting back to it. Hey, there we go.
はい、戻ってまいりました。
はい戻りました
第66回ファイナルファンタジー14プロデュースされたライブ、ジョブのご説明を続けております。Welcome back to the Final Fantasy 14 letter from the producer live number 66. We are now explaining the job changes. はい。
さあ、
続いてまいりましょうか。
行きましょうか。続いては、ごめんね。
Physical ranged, all right. They're splitting them up, huh?
So our physical ranged DPS.
です。
Bard first. Let's see how they smooth them out. They are definitely one of the more hectic classes for sure.
点としてはさっきお話しした基本武器の
Really not a whole lot of major adjustments, just the same thing as the others. Yeah.
になっております。
And so for the physical range DPS,
It is a really
and
cool,
this goes
really cool
across,
mech outfit.
all the jobs within this role. The
I'm excited to start leveling mech.
between the physical and magical damage.
Like the one
attributes,
class that I've never even really
weapons,
given a chance.
will be at the same.
Not-
And then
Not because I'm not interested, I
yeah,
just never
it's
got around to it, you know?
Similarly to what we had explained about how we're bolstering the physical damage calculation numbers.
まあそれぞれがオーソドックスに進化している感じなので、まあこの後説明していきます。
And each job is just, they have been updated accordingly in a fairly orthodox manner. So we'll just jump into it, each individual ones.
で、
It doesn't sound like too much.
もう一個あって、
Too much changing with them. There's again more streamlining.
パーティー
Yeah.
バフは3ジョブともリキャストが90秒になってます。
But there's one additional point that applies across the physical range DPS jobs is that any sort of buffs that mitigate damage, the recast timer has been adjusted to 90 seconds.
Interesting.
さあ、
Okay.
では銀融詩人からいきましょう。
Okay, so jumping right into Bard.
はい、どうぞ。
Okay.
まず既存
Your three songs will make available a new action.
まあ、パーティーバフアクションを追加しており
Nice.
ます。
That's interesting.
Says each of the 3 songs will make available a new action that applies a party-wide enhancement.
まあ歌によるね、支援を結構リクエストされる機会が多かったので、既存3つの戦艦
Because having it baked into the song, it's an additional action now. Probably stronger too. Okay.
So of course, there has been a lot of feedback and requests for more like abilities that would allow for like support using songs. And so we wanted to take the existing 3 songs that the Bard has in its kit and kind of add a sort of party buff and something that
And
would
bringing them back to how they used to be.
enhance
Yeah.
its effect.
で、まあ、エーペックスアローから発生する新アクションが追加されてたりします。
New action will be available. Okay, it's
And,
comboing with
a new
Apex Arrow.
action will
Nice.
be available upon execution of Apex Arrow.
旅心のメヌエットとかバトルボイスがリキャスト120秒合わせになるなど、細かく調整が行われてます。
And then other adjustments include Wanderer's Minuet and Battle Voice recast timers have been adjusted to
Same with
match,
everything else, yeah.
120 seconds, and other various adjustments have been made.
あ、ちょっと待ってね。
はい。
Sorry, one moment.
So it doesn't sound like they're making it any less hectic at all.
はい、はい、大丈夫です。まあ、詩人はそんなとこ
That was good, but it wasn't nearly enough.
で、続いてコメントでも変えるとこあんまねえだろうって言われてる貴公子なんですが、はい、貴公子に行きたいと思います。
And then next up is I'm seeing comments that, well, machinist, there's really not much you can change with the machinist, but we'll talk about the machinist anyway.
まあ一つ目機械をモチーフにしたシーンアクション
There it is, chainsaw.
追加されてます
Nice.
強そう。
So the first one, a new mechanical
Rip and tear, boys.
action called chainsaw will be added.
で、あとはですね、動画にもありましたオートマトンクイーンに新しい攻撃アク
Can't
ショ
tell
ン
if
が
I'm drooling or if it's just the steam.
And then this
Or
was
for being my gross self.
featured in the
Action will be
video as well.
added, yeah.
A new action will be added
The new
for
finisher.
Automaton Queen.
そうですね、他だと整備が、2チャージのアクションになってます。
And then in other changes, reassemble is now going to be chargeable up to 2 charges.
2
こ
actions,
ちら
fair
は
enough.
ですね、管理が必要なので、溢れないように、適時使っていただく必要が出てきます。
And of course, with this ability being charged, you don't want to waste once it's charged up. So please make sure that you are kind of strategically
Please understand.
placing it and allowing to build up as needed.
あとは本当主に新技追加で、少ないホットバーで快適っていうところは、変わらない形にしてあります。
And then the rest of the adjustments are primarily just new actions being added. We have not changed the concept of trying to keep the number of abilities that are assigned to your hotbar and still play comfortably.
はい、寄稿紙も以上となっております。はい。
So that's it for the machinists.
Oh, now they're really flying through. Okay. Dancer, I can't imagine too much changing. New AoE it looks like, but Flourishing Cascade. Can be shared across single target. Okay, interesting.
単体と範囲で共有化されるようになります。
Weapon skill effects such as Flourishing Cascade will now be shared across single target and AoE skills.
他にはですね、どうぞ。この辺のテクニカルフィニッシュ。
New action upon tech finish, okay.
攻めの単語からさらに発生するアクションというのが今回追加されています。
And then new actions will be available upon the execution of
interesting.
technical finish, improvisation, and devilment.
踊り子はバファーのね要素が強い DPS として
Devilment follow-up, yeah.
進化してます。はい。
So of course, with the dancer, it does allow for.
I love them playing Valhalla Flamingo, but in the background, yeah.
Or they allow for applying different buffs to your party members, and so we've kind of kept that direction with the update here.
単体とさっきお話したようにね、単体と範囲で面倒だったプロックの、管理を統一してあります。
And then, as mentioned earlier, the different procs that are applied sometimes, and it was rather a hassle because you had to differentiate between like single target versus
spicy.
AoE. And
I'm gonna go get some water real quick and throw away this trash, but be right back.
Was made or is going to be made simpler.
でですね、快適性をね今回向上させるために、単体アクションのみ、ダンスのステップアクションにこう切り替わってたんですけど、ダンスモードに入ると、今回範囲攻撃も同様に、ステップアクションに置き換わるようになってるので、ホットバーを切り替えね、範囲と、単体で分けてた人は範囲側でもそれができるようになるので、かなり楽になるんじゃないかなと思います。はい。
And so, because we tried to make things a bit more smoother in terms of like executing your different rotations, previously, whenever you were doing a single target attack and your hotbar switched to the different step actions, and you have to switch over because AoE does not have that kind of simplicity. We actually updated it so that
it doesn't seem like they needed to change too much with physical DPS. And they really are at a pretty good place right now.
In a similar system,
I know a lot of people absolutely love Machinist as it is right now, so
where the buttons will be replaced by the necessary next steps. I think before, if you had sort of had to manage like 2 separate hotbars for single targets versus AoE attacks, I think it makes things a lot more simpler. Yeah.
であとはですね、ダンスを成功させると付与されるエスプリっていうのがあるんですけど、
should not have put that extra sauce in it. Oh, I'm a heating up.
And then, of course, there's a spirit, which is applied sometimes when a dance is successful, and it's applied. Sometimes it's applied to yourself at random, but we've changed it just for the dancer themselves. It's going to a spirit is going to build. It'll be guaranteed to build.
Okay. Yeah, so again, more smoothing it out.
そんな感じです。
はい。
Okay, so that's it for dancer.
All right, what do we got next? Of all ranged casters, come on. I want to see my changes.
ちょっと明言を避けさせてほしいです。はい。
People were talking about with the bard, doesn't seem to take any sort of effects on the self. I'm afraid we are still making adjustments still, so I can't confirm nor deny on that point.
It makes sense because I mean, Bard has gone through so many iterations. They're still trying to figure out like where exactly it needs to be, you know. I think it feels pretty good right now, but it is definitely hectic and could use a little bit more, little less RNG, a little more support.
Too late for that. That's not what what we base our decisions on. Sorry.
違うんですよ。なんかコメントでね、詩人だけなんでって言われるんですけど、そこの軽く上げると全体を落とさなきゃいけなくなっちゃうので、別に全体バランスから知ってるんですよね。踊り子もね、本体軽くもっと低いわけで、はい、そこはバランスなのでご容赦ください。はい。
And I do see that people are commenting on, oh, why is it just Bard? Why? It's not fair. I mean, this affects the damage that is being dealt, and we do need to look at it from a balance perspective. We also made adjustments to the dancer too, where some of the damage has been sort of adjusted as well. So please understand.
はい。では次いきますよ。
行きましょう。
はい。
Okay, here we go.
Forward or moving on.
Let's see.
遠隔魔法 DPS ですね。こちら共通項はですね、シンプルにアドルのお話で、アドルにも、さっき牽制に、
Addles effect, okay, so they are changing that.
ますよと言ったのと、今度は逆にアドルには、物理ダメージの減少効果を少しだけ、入れることにしました。
So with magical ranged DPS, of course there is the major change would be to addle. Kind of similar to what we've done with Feint, where it adds just a little bit of magic damage mitigation or reduction. With addle, it'll allow for just a little bit, but some reduction of damage in physical attack.
さあでは各ジョブの話に移っていこうと思います。はい。まず黒魔導士です。
So going into the individual jobs, first is the black mage.
まず一番でかい変更点がですね、エノキアンが特性に変わり
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Nice. Oh, that just made things so much better for Black Mage.
So I think one of the most,
now I might actually be able to dip my toes in.
is that will be a trait
Finally.
that is automatically applied while under the
Very
effect of
nice,
astral
very
fire
nice.
or umbral ice.
No longer have to remember to press the button. You can still drop it, yeah, but I mean, you don't have to worry about remembering to press the button, which was always my big issue. I can do my regular rotation, but the moment I have to remember a knock-in is a button to press, like that completely screws me over.
And this was actually a very hard decision, or like it did require a lot of thinking, because while it was it was causing a disparity with the player's skill. So
yeah, if you've ever seen like on the FF logs or something like that, like the skill gap, like their bar is like 3 times longer than anyone else's between the lowest and the highest. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Under certain conditions, okay. Yeah, we saw a couple of those new ones. Antipode, yeah.
炎と氷が合わさって最強に見えそうな魔法が追加されてます。
And under certain conditions, swapping between astral fire and umbral ice will make new actions available. One of which is a fairly cool looking, it looks like a combination of fire and ice kind of a spell.
まあ黒魔同士はやっぱり侍同様にピュア DPS としてまあ戦闘進化してます。蘇生も持ってません。
Same thing where it's just gonna be pure DPS, no
And
no
with the
buffs.
Black Mage, of course, kind of like the Samurai, we wanted to kind of evolve it as a pure DPS. Of course, no raise.
No raise, anything like that. Yeah.
でやっぱりさっきお話したようにね、初心者の方にも軽く格差がちょっとね広がりやすかったので、エノキアンを特性化してます。
And of course, going back to Enochian, it was quite hard to grasp for certain players, especially those who are unfamiliar with the different the Black Mage actions. And it did cause a disparity between the damage dealt. So we have decided to change Enochian to be a trait.
Right.
他にはですね、ファイガプロックとかサン
Yeah,
ダーブロ
such
ックの継続
that could have been the only change. They didn't even need to add any more buttons or anything like that. Just doing that one change has completely like changed that class for the better.
この辺小手先のテクニックが効くようになってるのでお試しください。
And then the proc that is applied whenever for Fire 3 or I'm sorry, Fire 4? Sorry, Faiga is Fire 4, sorry. And Thunder. And the proc that is applied whenever those are in effect has been extended.
Okay, nice.
Because it helps with the rotations, and there are more things that you need to be doing in your different like skill sets and going back and forth, and some of the repeated steps that need to be done has kind of increased. So it helps with if these procs are on a bit longer, so that there's room to kind of make use of that.
Nice.
あとはですね、ファイラとブリザラどうなったんだろうっていうコメント見ましたけど、ファイラとブリザラはですね、上位の魔法が登場してです、範囲焼きのローテーションが変わります。はい。
And then Fire 2 and Blizzard 2 is going to have like a one step higher to that, so that your
Oh, they're making the
rotation
They're making the twos useful again instead of just spamming breeze the entire time.
Are we going to have a 4 or 5?
そう日本語名だとね、英語とかはね、4、5とかなんですけど、日本語だとね、どうするんだろう。これ実はですね、FF 委員会で議論をしました、ね。どうしよう。
So you gotta understand with the Japanese names, and you may be familiar with this, like Fai turns into Faira, Faida, or Faida, and then we have different tiers and different suffixes that we put in the Japanese language.
She's having to swap back and forth. Yeah, I don't envy her at all.
We had to start making up some of these suffixes, and we had to bring it up to the Final Fantasy brand committee and make sure that they're kosher with it, and we had to like debate about this.
だって魔法の系統を増やすってだって FF の歴史上結構重要なわけですよ。で結果、現委員長の北さんが、そこまで行くの14ぐらいだから、もうお医者さんは思い切って作っていいよって言われて、マジか。
Had to talk to the brand managers.
Because the franchise is very, we have a long running history, and having that sort of additional tiers to these magic spells is actually a big deal, because it's kind of breaking history. But the current sort of brand executive, Mr. Kitase, was very kind to say, well, the only people who go a higher tier beyond what was already established is 14. So, Mr. Yoshida, I will trust it. I will trust your judgment.
Giving him a lot of leeway.
To come up with a nice suffix.
そう言われた私、日和りまして。
そうでしょ
よりまして、今回ファイラの上位はハイファイラ。
わー、ひよった
But that made me scared on it just freaked me out at the on the flip side. So I went with high fire.
Such creativity.
今回じゃなくていいやと思って、はい、ちょっと寄りました。はい。
And I mean, one of these days, yes, we will eventually have to expand further out in our tiers, and we will have to come up with a nice sort of suffix to add on there. But this time, I think I kind of chickened out.
みんなね、見損なったぞ吉田とかね、そのひよってんなとか結構コメントあるんですよ。いいっすか？でも僕がね、仮にですよ、このためにファイ行ってしたとしますよ。そしたら KR 行とかですかね、今後全部。
そうね。それは困る。
いいんですね、それで。
And I see comments on the Japanese side. Oh, you chickened out, Yoshida. but let me, to be fair, like if we add like say a gyo suffix and like it's by gyo, anything that's like a tier 4 or tier 5 magic is going to be like tier gyo.
そうなんですよ。まあなんでまあ今回はちょっと、私いろいろ考えまして、
なるほど。
そこに無難に落としておきました。
So after much thought, we have decided to settle on that.
あとはまあちょっと話を黒魔同士に戻すと、激聖魔が2スタックのチャージアクションになって、で30秒でチャージするんで、これも結構腕に差が出てくるかな、使いどころって感じですね。はい。
Okay.
So there's another charge action for Black Mage that has been added. Another charge has been added to that stack.
ゴレンマは一応言ってみたんだけど、却下されました。
Yeah, something about polyglot. Yeah.
Comments about well, what about an additional like a multiple casts, like a five consecutive casts, and I proposed the idea, but it was rejected.
まあでも黒はタイムラインに合わせていく面白さが一番面白いところだと思ってるので、そこはそのまま残した感じです。一緒に苦労していきましょう。
But with sorry, going back to what Yoshida-san said about Gekisima, that's Sharp Cast. Sorry, Sharp Cast has an additional charge.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice.
But in any case, with Black Mage, it is trying to match your different spells according to the timeline of the battle. So that challenge still remains, and I think it still sort of lives up to that.
さあでは続いてのジョブ、赤魔同士に行こうかなと思います。
Yeah, sharp cast change will be nice.
Next item is
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got.
赤魔同士
Not a whole lot to change, but a couple curious things in that trailer video. New action will be available upon execution of Scorch, of course. Someone in Discord was mentioning that they saw that the melee combo could be started at 50-50 instead of 80-80, so we'll see how that goes.
あとですね、次のバルフレア
For Flare, Verholy, and Scorch, available as part of AoE rotations. Okay. Interesting.
And then the second point is Verflare, Verholy, and Scorch will be changed to AoEs, available as part of AoE
rotations. So I wonder how that's going to affect things with the single target combo then. Defensive party-wide enhancement will be added. Okay, nice.
これが入って割とねサポート側によりイメージがシフトしてる感じですね。
And then the third point is a defensive party-wide enhancement will be added, which I think is pretty powerful. So you can also
getting something in addition to Embolden, yeah.
その名もバマジック。バマジック。バマジック。ほう。のが追加されてます。
For Shell, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that second one it makes me really curious.
あじゃない。バでバ。 バーマジック。ごめんね、発音悪くて。あ、
Yeah, not a whole lot to change, but yeah, I'm curious about that spender
Magic
now.
barrier.
英語。マジックバリアかい。
Oops. We were expecting something like burn magic or something like
Verglare.
ですね、頭同士細かくいろいろ調整されてます。新魔法の追加はもちろんなんですけど、大きいのはですね、ウェポンスキルである魔法剣各種、ブラックマナ、ホワイトマナの消費量が減ってます、今回。
So with the red mage, there are a lot of granular changes that have updates that have been made. Of course, we have added new spells, but we have also
The hell is going on outside?
adjusted the weapon skills and the different sort of the magic sword, the black mana and the white mana depletion amount has been reduced.
Okay.
で、
Nice.
マナフィケーションを使ったら、もうそのマナフィケーション1回
Yeah, so you can do it at 50-50, yeah.
いけるようになってるので、開幕のバーストはかなり早くなりました。はい。
And then with manification, you are able to do like one combo with it. So the burst that you can have at the start of a battle definitely is quicker.
ただまあそのままだと魔法剣の回数
So basically, it just gives you 50 mana instead of doubling.
キャ
Okay.
スターっぽくなくなっちゃうので、各魔
Nice.
法を使った時のホワイトマナとブラックマナの増加量っていうのを下げることによって、全体の頻度は変わらないようにしてます。
But that being said, if it's done as is, of course, the spell blade frequency becomes a lot. So
Okay.
we made it so that we adjusted the white mana and the black mana, like the increase of those two different manas.
で、
Yeah, so it's gonna be slower to gain, it sounds like, yeah.
まあもちろんない。ただマナフィケーション使うと一気に増えるし、まあ溢れさせることもないと思うので、こんな感じです。はい。
So hopefully this doesn't make it so that the spell blade frequency goes like way too much. But still with the manification, we do have the mana kind of filling up, and you should hopefully not waste the mana that is accumulated.
でですね、ステージによってまあ使いづらいというのと、まあフィードバックも多数あったので、ようやくかって言われるとは思ってるんですけど、でプラスマンとアンガ
I wonder how the AoE stuff is going to affect the potency of those then.
必要かそうじゃないかで使い分けてください。なるほど。はい。
And then, of course, there was quite a lot of feedback about this and mention about how it's difficult to use at times. So the placement as well as engagement. The potency of these two will become the same.
Okay, nice, nice. So really no reason to displace then, yeah. I mean, they could really get rid of one, unless it's just for positioning, yeah.
っていう感じ。まあそこは
Okay.
エンボルデン変えてないですね。はい。
Then embolden recast timer is 120 seconds, and then
Okay.
modification is 110. So embolden should not have been changed.
いや
Hmm.
コメントでね、なんかデプラストレーニングはじゃあどうしたらいいんだよってそんなのあり
Interesting.
アンガジェマンの
Not a whole lot changing, but yeah, the engagement displacement change is going to be really nice. So there'll be more positioning tools than there will be anything else.
People who are complaining about like what displacement and engagement and swapping between and choosing the proper one. Well, if you are particular about the placement, just placement then.
赤魔同士こんな感じでございます。
so that covers the red mage.
Yeah, I love displacement, but it was hard to use with
ほぼ新ジョブになった召喚士をご紹介します。
はい。
And then next up is, I think it's changed to basically a new job, and that is our summoner.
もうほぼ新ジョブだとすいません思っていただければと思います。
But again, yeah, if you could look at this from a completely new perspective.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Here's the big one.
Changed quite a lot, so I think you can consider this a new job almost.
まずはというわけでジョブのメカニクスを
Significant changes to job mechanics. Okay, so that's a pretty big one.
Of course. So that being said, significant changes to job mechanics has been made.
さらにですね、ドットが全部なくなりました。
Oh wow, no more dots. All right, well we are in new territory, everyone. That's okay.
これは召喚士ではないドット士だと言われ続けておりまして。
Huh, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. I guess if you want to do dots, go bard.
Since a realm reborn, a lot of people were saying this is not a summoner; it's just a dot placer, and so we've removed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a yeah, that's pretty massive. Absolutely. Well, summon Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, not just Aegis, yeah.
Next is able to summon Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, not just Aegis.
How does this work?
ただこれですね。
It looks like you cycle through them, like you do Garuda, and then the chains for Titan unlock, and then the chains for Ifrit unlock.
晩神読んじゃいけないからね、そんな気軽にね。なるほど。なんでまあそこにその力を移して出てきてるみたいなイメージだと思ってください。はい。
But that being said, these are Ifrit Ruby, Titan Topaz, and Garuda Emerald. So you're not literally calling forth these
primals. Yeah, I was about ready to say, like, that's kind of a weird weird story-wise.
So the concept is we are sort of transferring their energy, so to speak, into these different sort of
into our carbies. Yeah.
Jewels, so to speak, and sort of calling those forth.
はい。で、その三番神を呼ぶと、本人召喚士本人にエーテル属性が付与されるので、その力で
Augment abilities with elemental properties. Okay.
が変わるようなイメージになってます。
なるほど。
By summoning these different sort of summons, the summoner, him or herself, will gain the sort of elemental ether and sort of switch into.
I wonder if they're going to stay the same with Garuda staying AoE, Ifrit being like your major damage dealer, or how that's going to work. Because we saw Titan using a lot of single target stuff.
っていうイメージに沿うように今回本当に大幅に変更させていただきました。はい。
So with this update, we really tried to bring out that sort of feel of a traditional summoner.
で、流れなんですけど、まあデミバハムートを召喚すると、まあ今まではデミバハムート召喚、フェニックス召喚、
Yeah, so we saw the Demi Bahamut, yeah.
もうひたすらルイ打つしかねえみたいな、忍者みたいな状態だったのが、大きく変わります。
Yeah, I've got a lot of people in Discord that's like, well, what are they doing with the story? Does feel like they're going to have to rewrite quite a bit.
Until now, you would have called forth the Demi Bahamut, and then it goes away, and then you call forth the Phoenix, and then you have some downtime where you're just casting Ruin or Ruin 3, just doing that until you've accumulated enough to summon them again.
で、デミバハムートをまず呼ぶと、属性エーテルを3つもらうので、
I feel like they don't necessarily have to change too much with the quest, maybe just a few lines of text here and there to incorporate the gems. But I mean, the overall idea of Summoner is still pretty much exactly what the story has, you know?
So with this updated flow, of course, you will call forth the Demi Bahamut, and then you will obtain this elemental property, so to speak, and then you will be able to summon Ifrit Ruby, Titan Topaz, Garuda Emerald,
Okay.
and then you would fight using the
Using each of the elements,
properties
yeah.
those different,
I'm curious about the elemental properties. I wonder if he's gonna do a playthrough of
フェ
it.
ニックスを召喚すると、
うん
フェニックスからもまたエーテルを3つもらえるんで、また3種を使ってというのが
なるほどなるほど。
一連の流れになります。
And once you've depleted those three, and
Mhm.
then you would call forth the Phoenix, then
Okay.
you would receive again 3 elemental properties, and then you are able to summon these 3. I don't want to call them primals, but they're the summons
Right.
that you can utilize those 3 elemental properties again.
That pretty much looks like a strict,
でイフリートタイタンがある
like
どの順番で呼んでもいいです
150-second timer or something, or 90-second timer. Yeah.
特徴が違うので、
うん
ボスのタイムラインに合わせて、先にこれは
That's interesting. Yeah, I like the changes for sure. I'm just really curious how it's actually going to play out.
なるほど。
And
Yeah,
of course,
getting
we
rid
have
of dots,
these
man,
three,
that's
Ifrit, Titan, and
nuts.
Garuda, but there's no
Mhm.
specific order that you need to call them for.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to do them
depending on the
in.
battle timeline. You can
Nice.
choose. Let's say you want to do Titan first. You can do that. Or yeah, you can quickly, or you can be flexible between those
Mhm.
3.
で、置き
Interesting.
換えアクションを駆使した結果、
うん
COI コン数は激減しました。
And then also part of the adjustment was to kind of consolidate some of these actions. And so the icons that are being used in your hotbar will
Mhm.
be quite significantly condensed because these will
Nice.
switch out depending on the
Yeah, depending on which Titan you have
the
out.
different
Yeah,
actions that
or
you're
which
taking.
primal. Yeah.
でめちゃくちゃ悩んだ末に、
はい。
That'll be
選択を
nice.
しました。
おう
Even as like 67, my summoner already feels like I've got a lot
And
going
so
on.
After a lot of debate and a lot of discussion, we did decide that we will keep Resurrection.
Interesting choice.
なんかめっちゃ変わったんで、
I wonder what the reasoning for that was.
なくなんのかよって言わ
Probably
れて
just not to put everything onto a red mage, you
申し
know?
訳ないなと思ったんで、今回は首の皮一枚で残りました。はい。
And with this significant change to Summoner, and people are being, I don't know if people would be shocked with the changes, but like on top of that, having Resurrect,
Hmm.
Resurrection being removed, people might really get upset.
Upset,
So
yeah.
it lived by the skin of its teeth. Resurrection is still there.
フィジクさんも残っちゃいまし
And Physic too. It's kind
And
of just
Physic.
gonna stay
Okay.
behind too.
You know,
た。さあ、じゃあ、もうわからな
why
い
not?
というお声が多いので、実機に行こうかなと思います。
And I'm sure people are wondering, well, I don't understand with all these words. So let's look at it on the gameplay screen.
Okay, nice, nice.
よろしいですか。
どうぞ。
はい、お願いします。
Let's see what this looks like. I do wonder if they are keeping like the elemental properties of each, with Garuda being AoE and whatnot. It'd be kind of weird with you having to do them all to summon Phoenix. It'd be very weird.
で、ここ
But
で
I don't
ま
know.
ず先に、ちょっとエイミラプリの話をしておいてもいいですか。
はい。
And before we dive into actual gameplay, I would like to talk about Eggy glamours, actually.
Okay,
ですね。
kind of an odd
今回
thing to talk
まあ
about.
召喚獣が増えるということで、
はい
すべての召喚獣に対してまず、サイズの変更ができるようになってます。
And so, with the number of summons you can call for, we have made some adjustments, one of which is to change its display size.
ただ自分が見たところ
Nice.
なので
No more screen covering Bahamut.
それは変わってません。
And look at how few
That
buttons there are. That's
only
nice.
Affects you as
Mhm.
the person like calling forth these summons. So yeah, it only affects how you are able to
Mhm.
do these.
Oh, so everyone else still has to
で
have to do the chat
まあ
commands.
今実はここにカーバンクル出てるんですけど、
はい
召喚師自身のレベルが上がっていくと、ここがイフリートエギになったりするんですけど、
うん
まあ僕はカーバンクルの方が可愛くて好きなので、これエギミラプリしてあります、カーバンクルを。
あ、なるほど。
はい。
So of course, with the right now we see the carbuncle appearing on the screen. But
Good old Carby.
you may be familiar, as the player character goes up, this Eggy would turn into like an Ifrit. But then right now I like the look of Carbuncle, so I have glamored it to a Carbuncle.
YoshiP is a man of class. Yeah, let's see this. Ruin, okay. God, that's so weird not having dots. It looks really weird. Oh, look at tiny Bahamut. Cute.
Summon the Demi
で
Bahamut.
ここに
Okay.
わかります？この
This is
鎖
this chain's on.
はい、解放されました。でこうなるとこの3つの
After you use a Bahamut, they unlock, and you can choose which to
どれからでもい
use.
いです。
And then, of course, with that, you get the elemental properties.
Ifrit.
I hope you can see it under the
So
there's just,
small.
like 3 jewels kind of chained up, and now those have been unlocked. And
Okay.
so that shows that you are able to summon Ifrit, Titan, or Garuda.
Mm-hmm.
で呼び出すとエーテルが付与されてカウントダウンが始まります。で2スタックのアクションが付与されているのでイフリートの技を使います。
Okay.
なるほどね。
So once
So you can
call
use
forth
it up to
these
2 actions.
elemental, primals, you do get that sort of ether
Mhm.
applied to you, and then you see that there's a 2-stack action, and so you are able to execute Ifrit's actions.
Okay.
これ今のはイフリートのエーテルをもらったので、
はい
栄唱時間が長い代わりに強力な炎の魔法が2発使える。であと突進と追撃っていう攻撃が、
Hmm.
使えるようになります。イフリートのモードとして。はい。
And so we were looking at Ifrit's actions, but with the elemental properties or ether obtained from Ifrit, while cast time is long, it is a very powerful fire-based spell that you can cast. And then there's also like a rush sort of attack that you can do, and this is
Okay.
the Ifrit actions that is available.
でここはやっぱり栄唱が必要なアクションになってるので、
はい
ギミック処理をしなきゃ
And
いけ
no
ない
dots,
の
no
でイフリートを呼んでしまう
Fry
と
disaster.
ロスになるので、他のものにします。
Most of the actions automatically change. Yeah, that's this is a wild. This is gonna be a wild new class. I mean, it essentially is a new class with how much they've changed.
But
Absolutely.
With Ifrit's action, one of this requires for you to cast, and it's a fairly long cast time. So say you're in some kind of fight where there's a mechanic where you have to move, then you would lose.
That's like
the
every savage,
opportunity to
though.
Cast the magic. So perhaps you'd want to time it so that you don't need to move around to process some kind of mechanic, or you'd have to be pretty mindful of when you activate these.
で実際に召喚を
Yeah, we
した瞬間
definitely
に
need the
スター
summon
トするん
tooltip
ですけど
translations at this
登場
point.
した時に
Yeah,
この技を一回バーンってこうバランス
there's
が
a lot going on.
And then, of course, when you are calling forth these summons, it's an instant, but there is usually like a starter move that it unleashes when it's first summoned.
でまあタイタンを
Yeah.
呼びます。
Okay, so now we're calling forth Titan.
Mm-hmm.
可愛いちっちゃく
Okay. Now you've got
I set his size
two
to
abilities.
small,
Yeah.
so
で今タイタン
guys are small.
I'm clapping them cheeks.
を
Nice.
So let's take a look at what we
挟
can
むん
do.
ですよ。
Okay.
Smashing from
Mountain
two
buff.
sides.
でこれは回数じゃなくて時間なので、もうひたすら打ちまくる。でこれはもう全部インスタントなんで移動がすごい楽です。
なるほどね。
Okay.
And with Titan's moves, it's actually interesting because it's within a timed section that you can
Okay.
unleash unlimited numbers of times of
So Ifrit's
his moves, and
2
it's
stack.
all instant.
Titan is
So, you
time.
can move around and cast at the same
Hmm.
time.
The Titan seems really powerful.
でガルーダを呼ぶと
Ruda. Okay. Same thing with another timer. Yeah.
Stuff is for Buddha.
But she has cast timers. Okay.
設置型のダメージ효果を置きつつ、これはもうインスタ
So
ント
she just constantly does damage.
まあ機動力がだから高いですね、召喚は。
But with Garuda, hers is more of like a placement damage.
Okay.
And this is also instant, and so you can move around as well. I think Summoner does have like a good bit of mobility.
Tiny Phoenix.
で、FX を召喚するとまた3つ
Tiny bird.
されるので、
Baby bird.
終わったら
Love it.
使う。
I feel like it's smaller than I'm even
Once you
used to,
conquer
yeah.
that round, and then you call forth the Phoenix. You will obtain the 3 elemental properties again, and so you can utilize these elemental primals again.
ちなみにこの3つの、召喚
Yeah, it looks like they removed
は
assaults too, yeah.
やっぱりそのタイムライン内で3つともそうは言っても使わないと軽く出ないので、なんかもうとりあえずタイタンだけ使ってきゃいいやみたいなのやると目も当てられないことになるので、
なるほど。
で、デミバハムート召喚と、フェニックス召喚の間にやっぱちゃんと使い切らないともったいないことになっちゃう。
It's gonna be wild to use, like, this definitely seems like it's set up for raid combat pretty well, but like I'm just trying to imagine using these on just like trash. I feel like it would
With
feel
these
kind of weird.
3 summons that you can do,
Yeah.
of course, you need to utilize these in the battle timeline, or else, of course, you won't be dealing very much damage at all. Like, you can't just lean towards, oh, I like using Titan only, so I'll use Titan only. Or
Yeah.
you will not be able to deal much damage at all. So whenever you do cast your Demi Bahamut and the Phoenix and the elemental properties that you attain in between those is something that you don't want to put to waste. Make sure that you are utilizing these and sort of building your strategy so that you can utilize those 3 within the recast.
Okay. Very interesting.
大体そんな
I like the looks of it. It's just it's definitely
覚悟して
definitely a change
いいとこ
for sure.
プロにね落ちたのではないかなとは思っておりますが、まあ、当然そのドットがなくなった分はね通常の栄唱火力へ全部持ってってるんで、まあちょっと機動力高いからなって思ったんですけどね、機動力の高さも売りだから。
Alright, is it time for healers?
ここはちょっとやっぱり
Are we ready?
元々ね召喚が
See Sage. I'm ready for Sage.
たくさんいると思うんで
I'm genuinely excited for Sage, probably way more than Reaper.
考えつつ、はい。
I like the lasers and the
結構栄唱増えるとさ
tech aspect of it, I think.
黒の巻き添えにしやがってって言われたくもあんまないしね。
But yeah, with the summoner, there was a lot of trial and error and a lot of debates to get it to where we got it. But I think we were able to get it to a good point. Of course, with the removal of all the dots, we did try to skew back to having the summoner have their damage kind of come from the different casting of the not the spells,
Yeah, I
but, like,
really,
different
really like that
summons you're
rework
bringing
quite a bit.
so,
It just
and
it
we
feels
also
different
looked
for
at
sure.
Just how mobile the summoner is, but at the same time, it is the charm of a summoner is the mobility of it. So I think we were, and there were people who were choosing the summoner because of such mobility. So that was another point where we had to rack our brains. But we didn't want to make it so that we're casting all the time either. I can already imagine the comments from players saying, "Oh my gosh, you're turning us."
Yeah, don't want to turn it into a bard, yeah.
you're kind of dragging us into this, Yoshida. So I wanted to avoid that as well.
さあでは、以上でキャスターでした。
はい、ありがとうございます。
では最後ヒーラーロールのお話いきましょう。
Okay, next up is the
Oh, that
healers.
Ora Sage. That's cool.
まずヒーラー共通項なんですけど、各ヒーラーに
It's
新し
me.
い単体バフ
She just needs to be blue.
アクションを追加しております。
Single target buffs will be added to each healer. Okay. Nice.
So the first thing is new actions that apply single
Stone
target
skin is
buffs
back,
will be
baby.
added to each healer, an emphasis on single
Oh, weird.
target buffs.
でそれからですね、全体的にヒーラーの攻撃魔法の詠唱時間が短くなっておりま
Cast
す。
time for. Oh, that's a nice change for sure.
And then overall,
Task layer.
we did reduced
Blinking.
reduce
There you
the
go.
cast time for offensive spells.
そしてですね、 全ヒーラー待ってた。リミットブレイクの効果範囲がですね、50
The expand. Oh, thank God. There we go. Nice. I have a lot of people that I've run with lately that didn't even know that it had a range.
And I hear Foxconn clapping.
That's nice.
ナイス LB 届いてねみたいななるんじゃないかな。
これは悲しい。
We will finally avoid situations where people are like, "Oh yeah, great LB, but I was not in the area of effect."
で、
Very nice.
まあ今回その以前からお伝えしていたようにヒーラーロールに関しては賢者
We got
を
White Mage first.
でピュアヒーラーに、バリアヒーラーにという、バランスになります。
But also with the healers welcoming the new Sage job, we will be splitting it up with 2 jobs being a pure healer and then 2 jobs being barrier healers.
Mhm.
基本攻撃魔法の詠唱時間は軒並み 1.5 秒になってます。
And then for the offensive spells, like the primary offensive spells, they're in general going to be a 1.5 second cast time, which is pretty quick.
まあアビリティがねかなり増えてきて、アビリティを使う機会が多いので、まあグローバルクールダウンにどうしても食い込んじゃってすごい気持ち悪いストレスっていうところがあったと思うので、そこを軽減するために詠唱時間を短くしてあります。
With needing to execute abilities, it tended to, like casting tended to sort of eat into the global cooldown time, and I'm sure people were very frustrated or would have been very frustrated with it. So we're hoping that by sort of reducing the cast time for basic attack spells to 1.5 seconds, that would reduce the frustration and stress.
Nice.
それでは白魔導士からいきましょう。
Yeah, make them a little more active.
White mage.
A good change.
白魔導士はですね、もう正当進化オブ正当進化以外の何者でもございません。効果も見た目も特徴的な、リリーを設置するという設置型の回復。
Sort of light well. Okay, that's it. That's the main change. Really not a whole lot to change with White Mage if you're doing pure heals.
They, as simple can be. Let's see. It reads a functionally and visually distinct restorative field action will be added.
Nice.
ヒーラーに該当します。
はい。
And of course, White Mage will fall under that pure healer category.
ホーリーのジョイ、
はい。
ホーリジャだったかなが入るんで、そいつでもリリーが咲くっていう。
なるほど。
And then a higher tier for the holy spell will be added, and so that will also contribute to the accumulation of abilities.
All right. Why not? Just give us Glare 2 while we're at it too.
アクアオーラさんがついに解雇されてしまいました。
あらあら。
And then one unfortunate news with the White Mage is that Fluid Aura has been relieved of its duties.
Gone with Protect now. Rest in peace.
あとはですね、ディバインベリゾンがチャージアクションになってますね。はい。
And then another update would be Divine Benison will become a charge action.
Oh, okay.
白魔導士に関してはもう本当に今までの操作感のまますんなり扱えるアップデートになってると思います。
But yeah, with the White Mage, it's pretty straightforward. I think the controls will feel as it was, and it'll be a fairly smooth transition with these updates.
Nice. Yeah, they didn't really need to change too much. Maybe Holy 2 will be interesting, but yeah, it's about as pure of a healer as you can get.
So with the Astrologian, we are going to skew it more towards a pure healer.
Oh, removing sex. Okay. Interesting. Not a bad move, but interesting change, yeah.
Will be removed, and basic healing actions will be adjusted to have the same effects as they would have while under diurnal sect.
ただこれ、ニュートラルセクトってアクションあるんですけど、そのニュートラルセクトの効果中のみバリアアクションが使えたりっていうことが先生
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine
あったりします。
how they would have made it into a
But that
pure
being said,
healer
there
without some
is
pretty
going to be
drastic
action called
changes. Yeah.
neutral sect, which while you're under its effects, there will be some barrier actions that you can use.
Okay.
で、あとはディビネーションの効果を変更してます。
And then we've adjusted the effects of divination.
まあディビネーションによる範囲よだめ上昇バフが、まあ、カードの引き運に
Used for new
左右
enhancements.
されるっていうのが、まあ、ストレスだったので、
Hey.
このあたり条件を見直しています。
The effects of it was really affected by the luck of the draw, so to speak. So it has been adjusted.
まあ通常で使えるようになるって感じです。はい。
Basically speaking, you can use it in like normal circumstances.
Mhm.
で、その代わり、カードシンボルに依存する効果を持つセルフバフが付与されるようになるって感じです。なるほど。はい。
So while you can use it at any time, what will change is that depending on the seals used, it allows for enhancements to be applied to yourself.
Okay.
で、リドローはですね、チャージアクションじゃなくて、ドローするたびに
Good night, moon.
一回使えるっていうアビリティになり、
Very
あとはマイナ
true.
ーアルカナにも変更が入っています。
Okay, interesting.
Redraw will no longer be a charge action, but it will be changed into an action where every time you draw, you can use it once. And then there will also be a change to minor arcana.
あとは動画にもありましたけど、回復と攻撃を結構兼ね備えた、範囲魔法が、追加されてます。
And then the other update would be you may have seen it in the video, but there will be an AoE spell that kind of has a healing.
So getting rid of redraw is going to be, well, the redraw change, I guess. It's going to be an interesting change. I'm already seeing people that aren't super happy about that.
白馬のホーリーが強すぎだろうっていうところが結構言われていたので、今回他のヒーラーにも
The seals will be interesting, yeah.
なんだろう、ID 攻略しやすい、ちょっとそれぞれが特徴違うんですけど、範囲を持たせてます。
And this is kind of based on some input that we've noticed whenever people go into instanced dungeon. Holy that the white mage can use is quite strong. And so we wanted to allow for other healer jobs to have something
nice.
Similar.
Very
Of course
nice.
Their characteristics
No
differ
stun,
from
yeah.
each of the different jobs, but we did want to have some kind of AoE. So.
That's a good change, yeah. Give them all a little bit more to do in terms of the AoE stuff. Like Earthly Star is good, but it takes way too long on trash, you know? You can't just spam it.
いやだけど、でもなんか特徴どんどん削れてくるのも違うと思うんですよね。なんか全員スタンつけるもなんかもう大雑把すぎるし。なので、それぞれになんとか特徴を持たせて。
Honestly, I just want posters of half of this art. I really like these drawings so far.
結構苦労したので、それぞれ特徴が違います。はい。
This was really quite a point of debate, actually. Like, do we want to add stun to this, or do we want to remove the stun effect from Holy, or? But
Yeah, if they remove stun from Holy, you'd see everyone leaving White Mage. Mass migration out of Holy.
It just seems to be very sloppy. So we wanted to make sure that each job had its own sort of characteristic or like a signature like difference between them. So we're hoping that when players get to try it out, they would understand, oh yeah, this is the kind of nuance that you're going for.
はい。
Very
じゃあ
nice.
続いていきましょう。
はい
続いては学者になります。
はい。
On to Scholar,
Next up
which
is the
had probably the most boring of the job
学
actions.
者はですね、
trailers
ここからバリアヒーラーになりますが、学者は改めてバリアヒーラーとして、調整されてます。
Of course, we're moving into the barrier healers now, but
Mhm.
With the scholar, we have sort of made adjustments so that they are leaning more towards that sort of barrier type healer.
まあ学者もですね、なんかこう大幅に変えるところがあるかと言われると、まあ多少ねペットの挙動をまた調整したりはしましたけど、まあ学者で今回一番でかいのはどうぞ。戦闘時にも効果あるパーティー移動速度上昇っていう。
They're getting Peloton, but I can see people using that in really nasty ways during combat.
Significantly. I
Wow.
mean, we did make adjustments. And part of it
I don't know how I
was
feel about
changing
that.
or updating the behaviors of the pet. But I think one of the most major changes to Scholar.
Yeah,
would be,
I don't like people messing with
unique
my
job
movement during combat. No, I don't know how I feel
and
about
the
that at
party's
all.
movement speed, even during combat.
うん。
いやいや、当然永続じゃないんだよ。ちょっと待って、永続だともう学者必須になるやん、それ。
The buff is not continuous perpetually. If
That's
it's
gonna be-
perpetual, then people are going to be like, no, must have Scholar all the
I
time.
don't know how I feel about that.
そんなわけないじゃない。さっきと一緒で
Yeah.
最後ね、召喚、じゃないや、学者、チャチャチャって走ってると思うんですけど、あれそこからアップしてるってことを言いたかったんです。
But you may have noticed in the video, like the Scholar was running just a little faster towards the end of that
Mhm.
job action, and that's to signify that enhancement has been applied.
まあ、いわゆるスプリントと同じ
God, if it speeds up forced march, it'll be the easiest troll of all time. Oh God.
So it's
And-
basically like sprint, where
Like, I don't mind it when we're out of combat. Like, I pop Peloton all the time, trying to move between trash packs, but like during combat, I don't know.
With, sprint.
I really don't know. Will not overlap with sprint. Okay, that's good.
パーティーメンバー一人を対象とした結構ね、強力なバフが追加されてます。
And then another update would be there will be a fairly powerful enhancement that can be targeted to a single party member.
Mhm.
でちなみに
Okay.
今お話ししたその移動速度上昇が付与されるのはどっちかというとサブ効果で範囲軽減のアビリティなんですね、それは学者に。でさらに移動速度が一定時間上がります。
なるほど。
And that new action that we mentioned earlier about quickening the movement speed of your party is actually like a fringe benefit of the action itself. It's actually meant to be like a damage reduction buff.
Okay.
That applies to like a range, an area of range.
まあスプリントとは重複しないんでね、
はい
そこは。
But of course, it doesn't overlap with sprint. So.
はい。
It doesn't seem like there's that many changes, though, if that's the only line that they've given it.
Sorry, that's about all we can share. That's
Oh, well.
significant for the Scholar.
So I guess maybe there might be more in the pipeline that they can't talk about yet. We'll see.
こちらに参りましょう。
Sage time, let's do
Last
it.
but not least,
はい、賢者でございます。
have our Sage.
はい。でこちら、
I mean, overall, it seemed pretty self-explanatory. Have sticks, shoot sticks, and things happen.
For a barrier healer.
ちょっと変わってるのがですね、
はい
敵を攻撃すると同時に
Attack enemies and heal designated party member simultaneously. Yep.
っていう特
Pretty
徴が
much
あります
everything we already knew, yeah.
And what's really unique about the Sage is that while you are attacking an enemy, you can specify or target a party member to heal at the same time.
Interesting,
あとは
okay.
回復とか
Ah.
回復用のリソースと
Wonder how that's gonna
攻撃用の
work.
リソースっていうものが、まあ、今回存在してます。まあ、ジョブハートと言ってると思いますが。
Then it draws upon unique resources for healing and enhancements, as well as
Magic.
attack
Okay.
magic. As you can see in the job HUD.
I like that hood.
Here.
Looks very techy. I like it.
ちょっ
Magitech.
と味方一人をまず指定して、メインでヒールする対象を選ぶ。で、かつ敵を攻撃すると、
Well, just really have to see it in action. I'm sure he'll pop into the game here in a second to show us. But I mean,
So again, to reiterate, you would designate a party member to sort of heal, and then as you attack your enemy, then whomever you designated will receive healing.
so it's like Dancer, but healing. Okay.
アクションなんですけど、それで
I kind of like that. I mean, aside from that middle portion, it doesn't really seem like it's all too crazy. I mean, it looked pretty straightforward in the job trailer, but
So this is
it looks a lot of fun.
Cardia. Oh, I'm
Cardia.
sorry. Cardia, and then you would typically, I think it would work well if you specify like your main tank, off tank, as your sort of designated person to heal.
Okay.
特定のアクションを使うと、一つのアクションが、単に攻撃魔法だったのが、ドット付与に切り替わったりっていうちょっと変わった動作をするものもあります。
And then there's another unique characteristic where sometimes an action that you execute might be like when you're hitting somebody, an enemy, it turns into a dot also, like a damage over time.
で、時間経過で付与されるアダーガルっていうリソースを消費して、インスタントバリアヒールも豊富にございます。
And then there is a resource that the sage uses, which is the Adder's Gall, that kind of accumulates over time so that you can execute your instant barrier heals.
Okay.
あとは
Nice,
イカロスっていう動画でも飛んでた移動アクションがあるんで、まあ、テクニカルバリアヒーラーって感じですね。イメージ。
And then in terms of like a gap closer or like a movement type action, we have Icarus. You may have noticed in the video that the sage is kind of flying.
Okay.
So it's kind of positioned as a technical barrier healer.
Okay.
これね、ちょっと実機でも説明難しいんだけど、一応出してみる？一応出してみるか。
All right. Let's see it in
Explaining
action.
This, like even on the gameplay screen, might be a bit complex, but I guess we should try it. Try to. See
I don't think
on
it.
the
I
screen.
don't really think it'll be all that bad, to be honest. It's really not too complicated. I mean, you have a timer. There you go. There's your timer there. I'm guessing it's like 20 seconds maybe.
Oh.
Those look cool.
賢者です。It's Sage.
ここだけ見るとちょっとゲームがわからなくなるんですね。
Yeah, I'm really excited
Just
about this
looking
one.
at this image, you can't really distinguish. Like, wait,
Those are so cool, man. I love them.
この剣具の収まり方結構こだわりましたね。
確かに。
we were very particular about how these nulas are sheathed.
That's cool. I really like that.
多いっすよ、アクション。
There's quite a lot of actions available.
で、まずこの
Quite a lot, yeah, I'll say. That is a lot.
というアクション、まあ特徴的なんですけど、これを使ってまず誰を主に回復するかっていう、まあパートナーという言い方だとちょっと語弊があるのかもしれないですけど、まあ指定をしていく必要がある。
Like the music. Yeah, that is a lot of buttons.
Going back to Cardia, this is quite unique, and so you'll be designating whom you want to heal. It might not be fully accurate to call it partner, but I mean you're pointing out, you're designating somebody you will be healing.
Okay.
今自分に貼りました。
So it's now set to me.
で、ちょっと攻撃をしますね。
We'll
Yeah.
start attacking.
Nice.
攻撃と同時に
Okay, that's cool.
ヒールが走ってます。
すごい
I am-
センス感がすごいです
It's only the first move, and I am 100%
So
into
as
this.
you are attacking, because I designated myself as I land an attack, the heal kicks in to heal me.
サウンドスタッフ的にどうですか？ SE っていうあらやだ SE っていうコメントが非常に出てますね。
A lot of people commenting on the sound effect, the sound effect, the sound effect. How does it sound to you? Does it sound sci-fi enough for you?
That's cool. I really like it.
初めて俺もチェキで聞いた時結構衝撃だったんだ。
It was quite surprising when I heard it when I was doing my checks.
そしてですね、このエウクラシアというアクションを使うと、技がね一気に変わったりします。今単純な、攻撃魔法でしたよね。これがアクションを使うとモードが変わって、ドット
Does that I can put out a barrier? Looks like. Yeah.
So the one which we were talking about where an attack turns into something that can place a dot, that would be the Eucrasia. So once you cast that,
Cool.
An attack changes into something that would allow for damage over time.
Okay. There's the dot. The barrier. That's cool.
普通に使えば技を変更して
なるほど
So it kind of augments the different actions that the sage can cast.
Cool.
お分かり
You see?
Nice. A flower rain or something. That's cool. Lucid, of course. Like the battle theme in the background. It's new as well.
いいかも
Oh, that's pretty.
まあ変わってますいろいろ
Augmented and changed.
じゃあ
Mhm.
使いこなしてもらえれば
AoE, yeah.
面白さは保証する
Barrier.
ですけど
It definitely looks
And
techy.
It might take
I
a
really
bit
like
to,
it.
to master, but once you do get the hang of it, it is quite fun.
5 stacks of barriers, yeah.
ヒーラーをソロで説明するのは難しいです、ね、
非常に難しいです
Yeah, it looks tough to explain healers.
私
I mean, so
はい
when you are solo.
Very true.
コメントはですね全然あれなんですよね SE とガンダムの話しかしないですよみんな
Yeah, Gundams.
For some reason.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
They'll go,
Yeah.
Oh, the sound effect, or it's like Gundam.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but I mean, everyone is going to be trying this class, it looks like. If they're not trying this class, they're trying Reaper, so I don't know how it's gonna affect queue times and whatnot for dungeon running, but yeah, this will definitely be my main healer, it looks like.
形になってますので
Whether or not I'm any good at it, I don't know, but yeah, it looks awesome.
まあ賢者とそれからメレディ PS にリーパーが追加されるのでどっちも結構また新しいメカニクスを持った特徴的なチョコになってるのでぜひ遊んでみて
And
くだ
that's
さい
it for the actions, it looks like, yeah.
But yeah,
ありがとうございます。あ、ごめんなさい。
in any case, the sage is definitely a technical barrier healer, and I think there is a it's worth sort of mastering the skill set that the sage brings to you. And then of course we have the Reaper joining the melee DPS, both having very unique mechanics and very characteristic, and it very unique. So we hope that people will enjoy this and try it out when it comes out.
はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you very much. そうしますと、第1部、ジョブ関連調整パートはこの辺でということですね。そうですね。はい。So this concludes the first part of today's Letter Live.
Wait, that was the first part?
Yes.
いやいやいや。
Wow.
ここまでで第1部ですよ。
第1部です。
We're just barely done with the first part.
Oh my god.
あと2部あんで。
あと2部。
I don't know if I can stream the entire thing. Wow. Jesus.
大丈夫ですよ。
はい。
Wow.
では第2部に行く前に、ここで一旦休憩にしましょう。改めて休憩を挟みたいと思います。で、ここまでいろいろご説明しましたので、ここで改めて、休憩のお供にですね、ジョブアクション動画を改めて流します。なので自動的に、休憩は20分休憩です。はい。なので今の情報を改めて頭の中で整理しながら、改めてジョブアクションとか見ていただければと思います。はい。So before going to the second part, pattern adjustments, we want to take some break. Then for this break, we will replay the job action video again. So with the explanation for each job in mind, please check the job action video. So the length of the break this time will be the 20 minutes. はい、ではよろしいでしょうか。それでは改めてビデオを見ましょう。So let's check the video.
All right. So with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I hope you guys do keep watching. But yeah, that's only the first part. We're almost 4 hours in. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. But yeah, I really enjoy everything that they're showing so far, and I'll try and keep up to date. But yeah, I hope you guys keep watching, and it's just over on their Twitch or their YouTube channel and whatnot. Thanks a ton for watching through the job actions and whatnot. But yeah, this is a long live letter, man. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, but I'm really looking forward to Sage. I think that looks fantastic. So yeah, we'll have to see what they have in store for the second half. I'll catch the VOD of it a little bit later, maybe do a couple reaction videos or something like that later. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and well, job actions means we're almost there. It's almost time for Endwalker, so yeah, I'm pumped and ready to go. All right, you guys